What's going on, fellow Pantheon members? We appreciate every single one of you being here today, being here this week with us. This is a pretty big week for news. Not just a pretty big week for news. I am going to go ahead and say it. 2025, I think, is going to be a pretty big year for news. We have so many movies, so many shows, so many different events and things coming out.
Did you hear that?
Or I think that was.
Check your mic. Tap on your mic. Let me see if that's on. Or, well, one of you should do it. I'm asking Darius. Darius, do it again.
Oh, I know he was talking to.
Yeah, we don't hear that. So that means that it's using your webcam microphone. Go to audio and get that right.
Sorry, let me fix that.
But shout out to whoever had the background noise, whoever's making that background noise, for letting us figure that out.
My apologies. So you should be able to hear me a little bit better.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, hello and what's going on? Thank you for being here, fellow Pantheon members. We appreciate every single one of you being here. As I said, I think it's going to be a pretty big year for news. Not only just this week has it been pretty big. We've got several movies, TV shows, and events and things going on in 2025. But just this week alone, I would say probably the biggest news of 2025 that we are going to get into is, as far as Marvel is concerned and the spaces that we're in, I would say even bigger than the Robert Downey Jr. thing, bigger than Avengers 5, bigger than Avengers 6. This is the recasting that Marvel is possibly going to do, and this is not official from Marvel Studios, T'Challa. Of course, we're going to get into that and a few other things. But before we do, Marcus, how have you been since the last time we saw you?
Good, brother. Still up. I was feeling great yesterday, and then kind of came down to earth a little bit and gets a little bit more addition to that scoop, and I don't know. It's a we'll see for me, but in general, I'm good.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Chill, how have you been?
I'm on a cloud, man. For me, it was a gradual. It was like, what happened is a rumor, and then it started becoming, oh, this is solid. This is Jeff Sneider. He's got a track record. I believe it's happening. Mm-hmm. I think there's a casting happening. A character will be called T'Challa. The who, what, when, where, why, and how, we still don't know. Mm-hmm. It could still be not T'Challa, and it could be the bastard. We don't know yet. But I'm still, but like, at least there was momentum. And anyways, I've just been really, 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 really well. Personal life, everything life is like, it feels good. Because it is T'Challa news. Rumor.
Yeah, it's a rumor. Like I said, we're going to.
He said it's a rumor because Jeff Sneider today, he was on Hot Mic and he said, "Listen, it's a report. It is an exclusive report about Baylon Skoll's recasting, played by Rory McCann, the Hound." He said that's an exclusive. This is a rumor that I heard. There's a differentiation between those two words.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely get into the rumor, Jeff. Which would we like to tackle first?
They're here for Black Panther.
Me too, Zane Beto. Me too.
Are we wanting to go ahead and jump into the Black Panther now, or do we want to get some of the? I say we make them wait. I mean, it's the topic. So let's get the other ones out. Then we'll jump into the topic.
Yeah. Sure.
We can start here if you would like, since we already mentioned Baylon Skoll. Let's start with Star Wars. It is the lesser of all of the franchises on the docket, so crazy. we can talk about its news first.
We're talking about Fantastic Four tonight, and he said it is the lesser of all of the franchises.
So we can get into that one. Chill, do you have a article for that one? What we do know, I guess, is that Jeff Sneider was on the Hot Mic, I'm assuming today, with John Roca, and put out that the actor that plays the Hound in Game of Thrones is going to be recasted in Star Wars Ahsoka Season 2 as Baylon Skoll. Not my pick for Baylon Skoll's replacement, I can tell you that. I was kind of going with what's his name, Sabretooth from X or Wolverine Origins, the dude that plays him.
The dude that plays Ray Donovan.
I think
he's in Ray Donovan on Showtime.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I was more going toward that fan casting than.
He's a very good actor, though. Dude is a very good actor. I like him.
He is a good actor. I love him as the Hound. I love him as the Hound in Game of Thrones. I will say this. While I'm just saying he's a good actor, I haven't seen him in anything outside of Game of Thrones. So I can only speak to what I've seen of him in Game of Thrones, and I do love him in that.
He's in a lot of British films. He was in that Knuckles series. Obviously, he's got the thing up behind him. I like him. Plus, I mean, the performance as the Hound alone lets me know he can play a stoic, anti-mentor, right? Like a person who's kind of been tasked with bringing someone along, as opposed to having a longing to mentor someone. He embodies that, right? That's what I was getting from Baylon Skoll. He was kind of like begrudgingly bringing old girl along. There was no fondness, there was no familial tie. It was like a duty. Come along, girl, kind of thing. I think he does that well. You think back to the earlier seasons of Game of Thrones, and Arya is escaping Westeros at first, and then all of her stint with the Brotherhood and all that. That's where she meets Mr. Clegane over here, and that kind of mirrors that same dynamic. So I like it. I think this is a dead on ringer. I think we'll be pleased whenever the hell we get Ahsoka season 2.
I am hoping that, for me, outside of the appearances of Hayden Christensen as Anakin in Ahsoka and the callbacks to Rebels, Baylon was the best thing in Ahsoka. I thought that his character, I'm not always the best or fond of Star Wars bringing in, oh, look, another Jedi that survived Order 66 after we told you we killed them all. So I'm not always too fond of, another Jedi surviving, but Baylon, I really liked Baylon. I thought what Rey did with him was fantastic. I'm very interested to see what they're doing here with the father, the son, the daughter, possibly Abeloth, and some other things. So if he can come in and capture what Rey did, I'm not saying I need him to be Rey. Obviously, bring what you want to bring to the character. But if he can come in and keep that same mystery about Baylon and that same intrigue, then I'm on board.
I think they obviously scale his role back a bit because of the circumstance, right? You don't want to have have it in the audience's face that prominently right away, I guess. You kind of want to ease them into it. Yeah, right. Like if it doesn't work, you don't want to stake the entire season on this guy's performance. So you kind of want to level it off probably from where it was at last season, where you could honestly see a entire like B path going. There's like a whole entire B side to Ahsoka season 1 with Baylon Skoll and whatever the hell he was on that planet to find and do. So I don't think it'll be that prominent in the storyline going into season 2 with Ahsoka, which is probably a good thing because it'll allow him to kind of meld into the cast, meld into the story without sticking out too much. So it won't be a constant thing that we're talking about. And then also it'll allow them to focus on some of the character points with Ahsoka that went to other people that we just didn't need to spend too much time on Sabine, too much time with the one special witch ghost, like let's get back to who do we rescue? What's that guy's name? Ezra. Yeah, let's get back to Ezra, Ahsoka. Let's kind of beeline this all back to Thrawn, because by the time we got to him, there was too much going on. There was too much stuff going on. You had Baylon and his little side plot. You had the green alien and her son, gallivanting through the universe. Then you had
Hera Syndulla.
There you go. Yeah. You had Sabine and her will she, won't she, with the whole Jedi thing. And then, of course, we had the main plot with Ahsoka and her struggling with Anakin and all that other shit. So it was just too much stuff going on. They really have to zero in on a couple major points here. That'll help them with not giving so much to Ray Stevens' character, to Baylon.
Says from Boris Kitt, Scottish actor Rory McCann, best known for playing the Bruley Brute, the Hound, will replace Ray Stevenson for a second season of Ahsoka. They said the Hollywood Reporter has confirmed, which is different than what we got with that rumor, remember?
Mm-hmm.
The rumor of T'Challa. Stevenson played the hulkling former Jedi known as Baylon Skoll in Disney Plus, blah, 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 blah. Ahsoka stars Rosario Dawson and another former Jedi, the titular Ahsoka Tano, who teams up with a former apprentice in order to stop the evil Empire from reforming. Two obstacles in her path were Skoll and his apprentice, Shin Hati. It's unclear when the new season is to begin shooting or who will be directing. Filoni was the showrunner for season 1. McCann was recently, they didn't really add any more details. It's just like a headline. That's all this is. The headline is he's recasted.
Yeah, and which we all knew they were going to do. They said that, I mean, a day or two after Ray Stevenson had passed, so we knew that they were going to recast Baylon Skoll. Yeah, they didn't wait long after Ray Stevenson passed to say that they were going to recast him. That was reported.
Did they get an official announcement? I didn't think it was official.
It wasn't official. It was from it was like from Daniel RPK and them that it was coming out that they were going to recast him. So nothing official from Disney or
so it didn't take weeks. It took minutes.
Yeah. So we knew they were going to recast him. Very, very important character to what they are trying to tell with the Ahsoka series. Ahsoka season 2 is being written currently. I think they start filming this year as well. So we can expect that show to fall into this messy timeline of Star Wars and see exactly where that is going. So yeah, and thank you everybody in the chat for the ones that have said the happy belated birthdays. I do appreciate that.
Oh yeah, happy belated birthday, Darius.
Graciata.
You 25?
Yes, sir. Going on 26 next year.
Somebody laughed. Somebody laughed. Woo! Hey, it's beef. That laugh made it beef. That is crazy.
I'm definitely in my 20s.
Oh shit. What's next, fellas?
Well, let me just add one more thing about the Baylon Skoll thing. I love the tweets. I love Blue with the sarcastic, "This is disrespectful." And the ATL Blurred had one too.
Oh, that's funny.
They should have gave it to his son, Baloney.
They should have gave it to his son, Baloney. Right.
Yeah, should have gave it to Baloney. Justice for Baloney. He should be taking over Baylon's mantle.
How racial is this? Where white guy recast? Yeah, it makes sense. No one's pushing back, nothing like that. But black guy, there was more. We can only see him that way. Is dark skin in the eyes of the regular casual viewer? Is it like an extra exclusivity trait? You know, like what is it that the white actors with all the white roles and the white people, they're recastable, but the black actors aren't, or the black cast?
It's what you talk about all the time. It's the fact that it's not. I'm going to use a word that you probably don't know again, but I'll explain. It's not propagated. It's not reproduced. They don't see it all the time. They do see white characters recast in a very factory, assembly line kind of way. So when it happens, there is no shock to the system. That's what you're used to. That is the norm. But if they did something special for a black character, to undo that feels like how could we? Or even to treat the black character the same way as the white character feels off at the onset if you're not used to it, or if you're not looking for it. It's because they don't do it, right? And Black Panther is unique in that it is both the first franchise to kind of reach these heights financially, but also the first black franchise that's reached those heights financially, but the first superhero franchise that's kind of been handled in this way, where you have a successful introduction and your sequel is missing the main character. That's kind of unheard of within the superhero genre. So it's kind of like a gift and a curse. It's the new kid on the block. It's the biggest newcomer, rookie of the year, but then it is also one of the biggest turns from the normal that there has been in the superhero genre. So it's kind of like, I don't know. It's a weird spot to be in for them.
It's the best case scenario. We'll find out soon with Baylon Skoll, because that's going to come out. They didn't tell us the date, but they'll shoot it this year. Like Ahsoka was 2 years old at this point. So they'll shoot it this year and we'll get it in 2026. And we'll see just how easy and smooth it is. They shouldn't change anything. Whatever your plans were, Dave Filoni, you keep those plans and have the actor do the same thing, even though it's a different person. You don't have to go, hey, what works with your strengths, Rory? Because you're different than Ray. Just try the same story out. There's going to be differences on set. He's a different person. He'll deliver things differently, but you don't have to mold the story for the Rory version. It's a recast.
I feel like Baylon Skoll was going to take an even bigger step into the spotlight in season 2, and it's a risky spin. It is a risky spin. Like I don't feel like Rhodey's role changed when they went from Terrence Howard to Don Cheadle. I don't feel like when they went from Ruffalo to Norton. Actually, it went backwards. It went backwards when they went from Norton to Ruffalo. So it's like they're not going to if it comes out and it's crap and people hate it, and then they gotta watch the whole season with him kind of driving things. That's gonna be an eyesore. But I guess I get it. He's a talented actor. I would give it to him. I would give him whatever they were planning to do. But I also
I
see
feel like they have to.
on it back.
I feel like they have to give him that. I don't feel as if they really can reduce Baylon's role just simply because of how heavy his presence was and the emphasis they put on Baylon. Baylon at the end of that season was pointing to a statue of the father, the son, and the daughter. That's something we haven't seen since Clone Wars season 5 or 4. And that entire episode, that entire arc left so much mystery around Star Wars. It changed a lot of what we even thought about Star Wars, the Force, and many, many other things. So what he exactly wants with that, it has to be big. He has to be. I mean, I guess they could reduce it and be like, oh, well, he found it. And since he found it, now we're pivoting to a different story with the father, the son, the daughter, Ahsoka. I mean, she's met them before. So maybe, I don't know. But I feel like with his role, with what they're doing with those characters, I don't know that they can reduce him.
Baylon wasn't a years-old character that brought in $1 bazillion played by one of the most honorable human beings ever. I saw a lot of media talks about Black Panther when that report came out. Hold on, let's read some more related to Baylon. Disney recast Genie, Baylon, Thunderbolt, Zeus, Percy Jackson, Peter Pan, every Disney princess. The list goes on, y'all. Yep. For me, it used to be notoriety of the character. When Chad died, I at first thought it was weird to recast T'Challa. Now I'm flipped and think that's actually the reason we need a recast. Thank you for the white perspective. I would give it to him. Pause. You can't do that. Critical mass. If you were typing it and then you realize, let me pause. You might as well just backspace and rephrase your. You wanted us to say, I would give it to him.
No. He wasn't saying it himself. Marcus had said,
God damn you, Darius.
Yeah, you're right.
God damn it. You could just let it go the way it was going.
Marcus, I'm still on your team because who's thinking that way? Critical mass. Relax.
Jeez.
I would give it to him. We're talking about
it is
the
a pause-worthy statement. It's okay.
Darius and Chill look crisp 1080, but Marcus looks out of focus.
Uh-oh.
I think he's insulting your camera, bro.
I'm streaming in 1080. Should be.
Wait, they're recasting Baylon Skoll? That's disrespectful as hell.
BRB.
Mm-hmm. Recast Kang Marvel.
Maybe I should retweet that too. It's disrespectful to recast Baylon Skoll.
The recast Kang stuff isn't like, I don't care. It's a race swap character anyway, whatever.
I'd give a damn if they recast Kang.
No, I love Jonathan Majors. I want him to be successful. I'm going to be in the theaters for his new movie, Magazine Dreams. I'll be watching on Amazon Prime his girlfriend, Megan Good, because she's got Harlem coming up. I just saw the trailer for it. I didn't see the trailer for it. I saw that it was out, and I didn't watch it yet. But, that I'll support. I don't care that he's playing a white character in Kang. Like, Kang's a white guy. There's nothing there. Nothing lasting. If he grows up to child, you guys really they're trying to dictate the narrative. We'll get to the Black Panther in a second. We were on Star Wars. We're going to talk about Skeleton Crew, guys. Anyone up to speed on Skeleton Crew? I'm one episode back.
I am on episode 3.
I think I'm on maybe
I'm on
4.
episode 3 from the last time we talked about Skeleton Crew, and we asked what my overall thoughts of Skeleton Crew were.
Okay.
I think once I realized that this show wasn't going to lead into anything grander in terms of, the landscape of Star Wars, I kind of let it go. I mean, I still plan on finishing the series because I'm halfway through it, but it's not really doing that much for me.
It's not doing that much for a lot of people. We go to Cosmic Book News, written by Matt McLoin. Nielsen ratings for the first 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew are in, revealing they're worse than The Acolyte, worse than Andor.
Oh, God, shocker.
Isn't it Acolyte's fault, though? I would say that.
It's definitely partially Acolyte's fault.
I would say it is a culmination of things. It's a bunch of different things as to the reason why this show is at the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of the barrel. There's a plethora of reasons.
It's not on the Nielsen ratings, the top 10 ratings,
Thanks.
despite having an entire week to qualify. We got The Madness, which is on Netflix, which I never heard of. You guys heard of that?
Dope. You need to go watch it. Starring Coleman Domingo. Great series.
Is it on season 1?
Yep. I think it's a limited series. I don't really see him having a season 2, to be honest with you.
Oh, you finished it, eh?
I did, and it's very good. Highly recommend it.
Then there's Black Doves and Landman, Special Ops Lioness, The Ultimatum, Marry or Move On. That's a crappy title. That's even beating Skeleton Crew. A Man on the Inside, Cross. Oh, good for Cross. It's like, this came out in November, and it's still
Whoa! When did it come out?
November 11th.
Man, that's a show that lasted. If only it had a time to be released on a weekly schedule, week after week of the week. Really had time to build and really draw out that popularity even more from November.
Thank you for your input.
Is
Marcus.
it in the top 10?
Yeah, right there in 7.
No, I'm saying I see Cross. Is Skeleton Crew in the top 10?
Oh no, obviously.
Okay.
No, absolutely not.
That's
The Great British Baking Show is number 10. And look, they have 2 episodes, right? They had 2 whole episodes. But no, it's not in the top 10. Oh, hold on a minute. Well, just give me 1 second. This may matter. If they're just counting minutes watched, then a lot of these are seasons. Like, you just dump the season and you can binge it all. Of course, they're going to have more minutes based on that,
I'm not giving them any type of, maybe it could be this or maybe it could be that. No, it's just simply no one's watching it. The same people that watched episode 1 are the same people that have returned for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, however many episodes are in this. It's not like there are new eyes watching this week to week. There's not. There's no one even talking about this show. There's no conversations online. I even forgot until you brought it up or until I happened to get on Disney Plus and see it at their little banner. I forget that it's even a show. And I'm a huge, again, I've said this many times, Star Wars fan. I think that, all the stuff they've got going on right now, I think I'm most interested in James Mangold's thing. If it can actually be something that he can have creative freedom on, and Kathleen's not hovering over his shoulder while he's writing, line for line, word for word, I think it could be great. This is same formula, same stuff. It's just terrible. Last thing I'll say. After, I just moved into this new house, and after I finally sat down from unboxing some shit, I watched Rogue One. Rogue One came out in 2016, and it was the first Star Wars movie that Disney had done since taking over. I'm sorry, not the first Star Wars movie. They did episode 7, obviously, but the first outside of the timeline, or outside of the regular scheduled shit, episodes 1 through 9. It's not an episode or anything like that. It was the first thing they had really done that really kind of tapped on the shoulder of like, damn, Disney might actually do this better than when George had it. They went from Rogue One, and I don't know if it was a conscious decision. I don't know if they, talked about it, if it was a meeting. They went nosedive, and they are still doing that same nosedive. They haven't hit the ground yet. They're very, very close. They got one more shit project before they explode. But they're not learning. They're not learning. And if you put out another Skeleton Crew-esque show, I don't know that the fandom is going to be able to handle another bomb. I really don't. I really don't. I think we are on the cusp of Star Wars honestly becoming obsolete.
We're there, though. We are there. It's not in the top 10. What do you mean we don't know if the fandom can handle it? It's here. It's
No,
already there.
I'm saying fandom handle it as far as like, we've entertained, and when I say we, I'm talking about hardcore Star Wars. We have entertained a lot of this shit. We entertained Bad Batch. We entertained Skeleton Crew. We entertained, Ahsoka and all. Even though Ahsoka wasn't that bad, it wasn't that bad. But it's nothing like it should be. I'm telling you, just watching Rogue One again. I've seen it a million times, but watching it just the other day, I know no one's really going to understand what this means. It feels like Star Wars. It just feels like Star Wars. There is a certain feel. It doesn't. The shit they're doing doesn't feel like Star Wars. It doesn't.
Andor doesn't.
Andor,
you don't think Andor?
No, I don't think Andor felt like Star Wars at all. I think that what Andor is doing. I never understood the point of Andor anyway. It's a bunch of characters that we know are about to die. This leads into Rogue One, where everyone dies.
Popular, it just has no chance of making Lucasfilm popular.
Yeah.
Like they like it. The people who like it a lot. They sure as hell spend a lot of money on it, but it has no shot of making anything else in Lucasfilm pop. No chance. So
Skeleton Crew's problem is not quality. Star Wars is just dead right now. They need a good movie out. Mm-hmm.
I think even if you put out a good movie for Star Wars and you go back, let's say they put out a Rogue One type film and people are like, damn, that was fantastic. But then 2 months later, we get another Skeleton Crew-esque show. We're back in the same boat. You're still going to have the same people complaining. It is a quality problem. It's a quality problem because we have yet to put out anything where there are people ranting and raving about it. Again, I use this example. I don't want to go into a Star Wars rabbit hole, but Clone Wars really was the last thing that Disney had really done that was really, really good. I'm talking about Rogue One 2016. I'm talking about recent years. Clone Wars was the last thing they really did.
That's subjective. Some people really love The Mandalorian season 2.
That's true. That's true. Mandalorian's great. Mandalorian's great.
First
but
2 seasons of Mando were it.
What Mando came out before that last season.
I got the timeline wrong. I'm sorry.
It came out before that last season of Clone Wars. That last season of Clone Wars, because Clone Wars was such a phenomenon, it is a phenomenon. There were people, again, like myself, staying up till 2, having conversations online, because that's when Disney was releasing shit at 2 a.m., having conversations online at 2 a.m. over what we just watched. Not to say that we don't know the Clone Wars, because we all know the Clone Wars. We know the events. We know how it happens. But to see that shit brought to life, to see Ahsoka's point of view, to see that Maul knew that's that magic. That's magic. Maul knew about Order 66. He was talking to Ahsoka about Order 66. He tried to lure Anakin. That's the shit that people want to see. That's tapping into that Star Wars magic. These kids running into pirates, and you're not even using your most successful pirate in Star Wars, Hondo Ohnaka?
Not yet. We got one more episode.
But why hadn't he already shown up? Like that's kind of my point. Like, why hasn't anyone else been interjected into this story to make it matter?
Guys, that's a complaint. That's a complaint that the universe feels so small because everyone knows everyone. Why can't he just know?
Damn, we got Yoda in the last project. They gave them access to Yoda.
Yeah,
we haven't gotten anything in Skeleton Crew, at least up until what I have seen. We haven't got access to shit. Somebody that looks like Jabba the Hutt.
There's just no conversation. That's just what bothers me, I think. There's no one talking about Star Wars in a positive way, or I would even say negative. No one's talking about Star Wars unless it gets brought up in conversation.
Apathy.
James Mangold. Oh, by the way, Marcus, you're our fuzzy. Do you notice it?
Yeah, give me a second, guys. I'll be right back.
James Mangold that you mentioned earlier. So the report is, he says, I don't want to be bogged down by continuity or by canon, and I do my own thing. And I'm cut from a cloth where, no, James, that's lore. That's the reason we want to do Star Wars. Not, I'm going to be somewhere different. I won't be tied down to storytelling from other creators. I look at that is effort. Avoiding doing the effort of tying things in, of
Right.
you can make something in the past. So let's just say, oh my god, I was gonna say something that's gonna reveal my story because I'm actually writing a comic and there's something I'm thinking about. I'll say it. I'll say it, but I won't say specifics. You need to do something in the past that makes this thing that exists in the future, Luke and everything. You can make that more special. You can do something about Kashyyyk that makes Kashyyyk that way, or that planet, the Dagobah system. Why does it have so much smoky? The cave. You can do a movie in Dagobah from 4,000 years ago, and it will explain how Dagobah got to the place that it's at, and it would be, oh, that was useful. But he doesn't want to do that, and I think of that as poor storytelling, and I don't commend that. I don't think of it the same way he does, where he goes, this is going to be no restrictions. I'm going to kick ass. I'm saying, no, dumb. It's not restrictions. It's Star Wars lore. Respect it and add to it.
And this is, again, I guess I'll say this until Marcus gets back. One of the things that was promised when Disney took over Lucasfilm in 2015, Kathleen Kennedy got her dumbass on stage, and she said what she said to all of us. Everything is going to, kind of similar to what James Gunn just recently said about the DCU. Everything is going to be connected. We're going to connect the legacy stuff. Video games are going to be connected. All this is nothing. Everything's going to be connected in canon, as Star Wars is supposed to be. Poetry, it rhymes. It's supposed to rhyme. That's how George Lucas wanted it to be. So when she got on stage, said all that bullshit, and here we are, 10 years later, of Star Wars, of Disney owning Star Wars, a little better, of Disney owning Star Wars, and it is more fractured than when James Gunn got up there and said DC, as we know, is fractured. This shit is so fractured. I don't know if I believe until you sell it to someone else, it's beyond repair. It is beyond repair. You have fractured this, and to your point of the lore. Not wanting to go into Legends material, not wanting to use these characters. Prime example, they said they were going to not do Legends material at all. Who was one of the best fucking characters of Rebels? A Legends character that they decided, hey, let's ask Timothy Zahn if we can go pull in Thrawn.
Elon Musk.
You pull in Thrawn, and Rebels instantly. You already had Vader, but Rebels instantly became an even better show because you pulled in one of the greatest villains in Star Wars. So now you are refusing to touch Legends material. You are refusing to add connectivity to fill in these holes. And you are you're creating your own characters in these skeleton crew, these kids, whatever the fuck you did with Acolyte and all of that. And you're failing. You have characters that we want to see. Mara Jade. Not even just Mara Jade. Luke Skywalker. God damn, the franchise's main fucking character. Can we see him?
Yeah, right.
But no, we can. We've got to go on this field trip with these kids.
This was on the back of the Manigold thing, right? The I'm so glad I don't have to deal with lore and
get him, Marcus.
Fam, what are you talking about, dude? Why are you here? Why are you in this room? How do they keep hiring people that have no affinity for the project, for the product, who have no connection to the product? Like, I don't understand how that keeps happening. How they are sitting in these rooms, they're coming up with concepts. All right, what are we going to do? Let's roll back for the next 10 years. And you're talking to folks who are uninterested in the content, who are wholly uninterested in talking about what it is they're writing and they're working on. Shit is crazy. It doesn't make any sense. And you want to establish, he doesn't even know enough to know that, all right, well, even though I don't have to deal with all that Skywalker saga shit, I'm writing a story that predates all of that. So now I am establishing Star Wars lore. You are getting a chance to write etch your name into Star Wars history. And the only thing you can say is, glad I don't have to deal with that history stuff. This is going to be a shit show. It's going to be a shit show. The only hope that they have is that the Mando and Grogu movie this summer hits and they course correct. They're like, all right, screw it. The hell with the rest of that stuff. Mango, you kick rocks, and we'll fast track another Mando and Grogu movie.
Honestly, Mango's, he's just trying to self-aggrandize himself, and I'm not with it.
I think because it's a Star Wars film, Mando and Grogu will do the numbers in the theaters. Will it be one of those things where people come out of the theater and it's like Star Wars magic? We'll have to wait and see. That's this year or next year?
Next
I
year.
thought it's not 2025. You sure?
Yeah, I checked and I was disappointed. It's 2026.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what.
early.
I'll tell you what. If Grogu isn't speaking, if Grogu doesn't have a
already have been speaking by now, Darius.
Yes, he should have.
They're making him
He
a
should have.
kid. They're going to make him stay a kid for this
if
movie.
he is goo-gooing and gagaing in the Mandalorian and Grogu film, and we met this little bastard at 50 years old in 2018,
Bastard.
he is at this point because, and the reason I say he is because you had Jon Favreau, who had this is why Jon Favreau is leaving after the Mandalorian and Grogu film with Lucasfilm. He's not doing, and I would even say
unless they offer him another job.
Unless they offer him another job. But you fractured his story. He had a plan in place for Grogu. We weren't even supposed to see Grogu in the Mandalorian season 3.
Man, let's talk about
Kennedy
the plan.
said,
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
We got merchandise we got to sell. We got toys. So we need to throw Grogu back in here. And it didn't make sense. He was supposed to be training with Luke. He came back and he was in a fucking Transformers uniform fighting a Rancor. What are we doing?
All over the best modern Star Wars moment that they have, film or television. And that was Luke Skywalker coming in on that ship. Mando, Din Djarin showing his face for the final time to Grogu and him going off with Luke. That was the single greatest modern Star Wars movement. I'm talking prequel series and beyond. It was the best modern Star Wars moment that they've had to date. And they stepped all over it for nothing.
Yep.
So they were like, all right, cool. We're going to do this buddy, bounty hunter / babysitter shit for 2 seasons. Then we're going to pitch him off to Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker's going to turn him into a Jedi. That's a perfect opportunity for him to stop Goo and Gagaing. Oh, but wait. Kathleen, her master mixer skills. Yeah. No. Let's bring him back and put him in the Boba Fett series along with Mando, because it would have been fine still if you just wouldn't have involved
in an episode that Boba doesn't show up in.
Right, in the episode Boba is not even seen in. Let's bring him back
in his own show
with Din Djarin, and he's still Goo Gone, right? And then in season 3, when we can actually course correct some of that and mature Grogu, hell no, more babysitting, Goo Gaga. Now I am permanently this whatever this species is, his father. I'm Dada Djarin now.
Yep. Hopefully the Mando and Grogu movie can be good. I have faith in Dave Filoni. I will tell you my faith is a little shaken in Dave because of some of the things that he has said. Now, maybe he just doesn't want to lose his job as COO or CEO or whatever the fuck it's called. But my faith has been shaken in Dave. But I'm done with my Star Wars soapbox. We'll see. We'll see how it all turns out.
Okay. Well, I have some news for you guys. If we take it back to the Simpsons movie, famous TV character, remember? They got their own film, and the baby who never speaks had her first words.
Oh, Maggie.
Oh my God, her first word.
So, I'm just saying there's a precedent set for TV characters to save their first words for the big screen. How about that?
Maggie been 2 years old for 30 years, okay? That's not what we want with Grogu. It's not what we were looking for.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. It made sense. I mean, then again, we don't know anything about Yoda's race or what even Yoda's race is called. We don't know at what age they start speaking or anything like that. At 50 years old, he still could be an infant. I don't know.
Century to form language to start speaking, because that's just how old they are.
Could be. It could be.
We just making stuff up now at this point. Let's not give them credit.
I thought he more had like a trauma response, and now he's quiet, which happens in hospitals. In the Cross, I believe the girl
he's not
who
quiet. He doesn't know words. He grunts. He doesn't communicate fully.
Points.
Yeah. He's like
when
a
he
child.
wants that little ball thing, he cries.
Yeah, you're right. So he verbally expresses. So that's probably not what's happening with him then. Michael
No.
Nemo, $10. Thank you for the $10.
Thank you, Michael.
Yes, sir.
Star Trek
Yeah.
Discovery for the first 2 seasons messed with canon so much that the showrunner, not a Trek fan, got so tired of us complaining that they wrote the series to advance 1,000 years.
What?
That doesn't
They
sound like
ran
somebody
him
I
off
like.
his timeline? That's crazy. That is crazy.
That's disappointing.
He ran you off the timeline. They got after you so much that you jumped 1,000 years into the future. That's crazy.
Mando's date is May 22nd of next year. Thank you for that, Mike.
Holy moly.
Remember Boba Fett was supposed to be Mandalorian season 3, but never got invited. Damn it, is coming.
I'm sorry, just on that, I don't think Tamara Morrison's going to get invited back to do anything.
It doesn't
Boba
sound
Fett.
like it, according to him.
One, he spoke out. I commend him. I'm good job. Somebody needed to. He spoke out against the machine, and they didn't. Kathleen didn't like that shit. He was in interviews saying, "Well, I don't know if Boba would do that. The Boba I know wouldn't have done that. Why is he so soft? Why is he this? Why is he that?"
The same
He
way
was-
Mark Hamill
Yeah.
did. Same way
Yeah, the same way
was
Mark
like,
Hamill did.
Why is Luke doing this? And
Yeah,
I guess he's
Yeah.
a hermit now. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just like this is bullshit. And none of this makes sense.
it's bullshit. It's bullshit. When you have your actors saying my character would not do this, there's an issue. Like the Boba Fett we got at the end of Mandalorian season 2, when he came and whooped the fuck out of those stormtroopers, that was dope. That shit was dope, bro. That was so great. Then he was a hermit teaching sand people how to ride banthas and having peace treaties with all of the underworld criminals,
the crime families. Yeah.
yeah,
That-
I'm thinking to myself, this
so
is about
weird,
to be
so
some,
random.
yeah, bro, it was so weird. I'm thinking this is going to be a dope crime underworld show where we're going to see all these criminals coming up against each other. Boba Fett's going to have to be like the main no. He was like, let's make peace. I want peace.
Hey, you know what? The Penguin was what we expected Boba Fett to be. The Penguin was what we wanted from Boba Fett, man. We were looking for a true, like, I don't know if he's a villain, but at very least an anti-hero. And we got Santa Claus.
Yeah.
We got
Boba is whatever to whoever's paying the most. You want me to be that good guy?
Exactly, right?
Most.
And so that
bad guy?
can lead you to a lot of compelling storytelling if you actually write them right. But they wrote him like Santa Boba.
I just checked, and Kathleen Kennedy's still the president. 71-year-old Kathleen Kennedy. She's gonna stay there until Vince McMahon happens to her or something. She's stuck.
She'll be there. She's not going anywhere.
Darius, your poster is dope.
Thank you. I was watching. She's Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not fucking leaving.
I'm not leaving.
She's gonna give the speech. It's time to go. I'm not fucking leaving.
Steve, what the hell is this?
Oh, you didn't see that TikTok?
Remember, I showed you that. I thought I showed the or was it just my stream? I showed that too. I thought I don't
know. I didn't see that. Somebody said that the Penguin and Agatha are the same show.
They are. If you watch that TikTok,
no, don't do that. Don't do that.
You will definitely see that they are the
Please
same
don't
show.
do that. Please don't do that. Please don't. Is who's Oswald of Agatha?
Oh, brother. Do I need to pull up that? I need to find that. Let me find that TikTok.
Lord have mercy.
Boba Fett Peacemonger. Is that an insult? I wanted that dope crime Star Wars Underworld show so bad, Darius. Such a letdown.
Me too.
Yeah,
you know,
much.
before Disney took over Lucasfilm was, you can look this up on YouTube. There's actual footage of it. Just never got off the ground. They were doing a criminal underworld show in Coruscant, set in Coruscant, in the underworld with criminal. It looked like it was going to be dope. It was before Lucasfilm touched.
And where is George Lucas's next project? He sold and he said, "Oh, I'm gonna make a bunch of movies that no one will ever see." Is he really making movies? Is he directing movies and like what does he do on a day to day? I know it's none of my business.
Is not. I don't think he is in. When is the last time we've seen George Lucas make a public statement, like out of his lips?
Yeah, no,
and not just secondhand, not a written statement, not his wife. When the last time we've seen him say something?
Yeah, the only thing coming to mind is the written statement about Bob Iger is someone we can trust.
Yeah, the proxy fight, which is That's surely something.
Yeah, and
Surely
I
something.
thought by now I would know. Like I would find out. That's the reason why he did it. It's because they were giving him. It's not. It's not.
I think it had a little bit more to do with his wife's relationship with a certain investment company, but that's not really pertinent to the stream right now.
But that sounds like something all of us want to hear about.
His wife is on a board with a member of a very large financial player in the United States who has financial interest in Disney.
Okay.
And, wouldn't have necessarily liked to see that much interest go to Nelson Peltz in that fight. You can dig on it a little bit more if you want to, but there's a relationship there between Lucas's wife and a large fund that invests in Disney.
So it's just doing a favor for a wife's friend.
Well,
on behalf of the wife, I'll do.
Not necessarily. It wasn't. The wife was just a connection, right? Because again, what Peltz was trying to do was he was trying to gain a controlling interest in Disney, right? He wanted to be able to make decisions. So the current decision makers would have to give something up. Well, no, we don't want to do that. And so if I have a back channel to kind of work this to try to get to George, and George is in a state where he's not, I mean, the man is 80 plus years old, right? What is he, 81?
80.
How old is he? 80? He's 80 years old. So I'm not saying he's Joe Biden, but I mean, maybe he's somewhere around there,
Joe Biden's the president, though.
Yeah. Well, that's the case for a bunch of reasons, not necessarily his competency.
Nate Moore becomes the new president of Lucasfilm. No. Can I change the subjects to the
No.
president? Can we go over to Mark Zuckerberg from Meta?
Sure.
Elections have consequences. Lately, you got rid of your current incumbent. We did too.
I know you're not talking. I was about to say, yeah. Trudeau? Shit. What happened? I thought y'all liked him.
Nah.
No.
No. Bill C-11.
Really? Y'all don't like him? I thought.
Hey, the way that they talk about him, I thought y'all loved Trudeau.
Basically, he won because of electoral college the last time. Popular vote, he lost.
Okay. Is he the conservative or is he the liberal? He's the liberal, and he lost the popular vote.
Yes. Mark Zuckerberg. He came out and said it's about censorship, and we want the Wild West. We want everyone to be free, which basically admits to what they would have never admitted 4 years ago about how they what's the word? Shadow banned or it starts with D. You're the one with good words. It's when you prioritize something less. They would do that to different accounts and different tweets with certain words, and they would censor things that the FBI would tell them to censor. So any sort of theory or truths about Anthony Fauci, this was something that Facebook was participating in. Trump wins the election, and they go, "Dog, the next 4 years are going to be really, really rough. We're going to make friends, and we're going to change our policy." Everything online on Instagram and on Facebook is going to change, with the exception, they said, of child. No, I'm not going to use one of those words, but you can get where I'm going with that. He said terror also, which probably means if you say free, you know what I mean, that place, they will be more in favor of the
from
skin
one
cancer
place
capital.
to another place, from one geographical area to another geographical area, one part of the land to the other part of the land.
But if you want to talk about, other things on other topics, you'll probably be free to talk about them on these platforms. And whenever they flick that switch, it's going to be very obvious whenever the algorithms change.
So it's not really a surprise to me because just like most American industries, they are shield to power. They are beholden to whoever is in charge. So when they took the stance of, we need to get rid of misinformation and block the bad actors, and there could only be so much earnest in that, again, because of who it's coming from, along with this going away from fact checkers and what have you, and it being the wild west. Well, part of that wild west is the bot accounts that they plan to add to their platforms. That was another story that came out last week about Meta adding bot accounts to Instagram and Facebook. So you see that there's kind of a benefit now to you not having to verify a whole bunch of information that people are posting when you're going to be flooding your own platform with fake accounts. It's very self-serving. So again, nothing is about what it actually is that they're talking about. It's never that. It's never the reason that they say it's about. It's usually something that benefits their pockets or their bottom line. And you kind of hit the nail on the head with the idea that, you know, next 4 years is going to be Trump's, and you don't want to make enemies, I guess, with him right now.
How does that affect Star Wars? How does that affect the fan campaigns, Rotten Tomato scores being censored, basically? What does Rotten Tomatoes do a version of what Mark Zuckerberg just did?
I don't think the entertainment industry plays into that, because Hollywood has hated Trump since The Apprentice. So like it's not. I don't think that they changed their tune. But Silicon Valley, who's heavily dependent on government funding for any number of projects that they do, these data centers, the warehouses, they're using government money. Like Mark Zuckerberg is exorbitantly rich, but don't let him fool you and think that he's going deep into his pockets that anytime he starts up a new Google neighborhood or you see the Google cars running around. That's most of that shit's government funded. So you don't want to turn the faucet off regardless of who's there, you know, regardless of who's sitting in the seat.
Yeah. I think that this is just the first of many. A lot of people, we're seeing a lot of backtracking, and not just in what we're going to be starting to see online. Like John C said, it's still controlling people either way you split it, but controlling what people see either way you split it. But a lot of people are backtracking with this new administration and he hasn't even taken office yet. Mm-hmm. With this new administration about to take office, a lot of people, we've seen it. Target has backtracked. Not Target. Walmart has backtracked. McDonald's has backtracked. You're about to see all of these people that made these heavy statements during, like, oh, you know, Black Lives Matter 2020, you know, let's now it's like fuck them niggas, this shit is over. Fuck all that shit. None of that diversity, none of that shit matters, because our president, our man in charge, it doesn't matter to him. I mean, you look at what's going on in California right now with the fires. That's a whole nother thing. But I say that because there's a lot of skepticism around these fires as far as like how they started. It's cold in California, you know, things like that, blah, 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 blah. But instead, and if you voted for him, that's your prerogative. I'm going to make sure, and I'm sorry if this rubs people the wrong way, or if I'm not trying to be political, I'm not a political channel, but I will always let people know this is what you voted for, because I didn't vote for this. I didn't vote for this last time. I didn't vote for this time. This is what you voted for. So when you have our commander in chief getting on whatever platform it is, Twitter, X, whatever the fuck, Truth Social or whatever, and he's getting on there and he's spreading the same thing. No one should be surprised by the fear mongering he's doing, the division he's doing, the bigotry. All of this. This is who this man has been since the Central Park exonerated Central Park 5. Since he refused to work, this is who he's been since then. He's not. This is nothing new for Trump. This is not new. So he got on there and spreading division, calling Newsom all these names, instead of getting on there and saying what Kamala did. Kamala got up there and was like, we need to be joining together. We need to be doing this. We need to be doing that. I'm not saying she was the best candidate. But what I'm saying is, when you've got your commander in chief spreading the same rhetoric that he spread in 2016, when there were mass fires and people losing shit, that is not your position. So that's what I'm saying. I'm bringing it back to what you said about all of that. He doesn't care about that stuff. So Zuckerberg and these people that are in line with him, that voted for him, that see the eye to eye with him, are now going to start backtracking on all of their things. That's why we're seeing Zuck doing the shit he's doing. You're seeing McDonald's doing the shit they're doing, seeing Walmart doing the shit they're doing. It's just going to be a tumbleweed of effects of people just backtracking.
Salute to Luigi, because I saw Planet Fitness is going to have access to water. You can have access to a shelter at every Planet Fitness in LA right now. The CEOs are listening, and they're afraid for their lives, and they want to be remembered in this time of crisis that they showed up for their community.
They should be scared. They should be scared. I saw a video of this black girl talking about how much her hospital bills were just for I think she went in something with her leg. It was a very long video, a very emotional video. But she went in there and at the end of it, she said, "Free that boy, free him." And a lot of people feel that way. And not getting into that, but a lot of people feel that way. A lot of people feel that way.
Censorship on Facebook started as a result of Facebook being linked to that word of Muslims in Rohingya. I don't know where that is. Rohingya, somewhere in China or India.
Of Muslims in Rohingya.
Yeah, that was the word I wasn't trying to say. Say it again, one more time. No, I was playing with you, Marcus. Just don't say the word with the G. Trump literally was serving burgers at McDonald's like a month ago. LOL. LA fires and Maui fires. There's some correlation there, I bet. It's wearing the same hat you're wearing.
If Oprah and The Rock roll in to California talking about they trying to, well, they're not going to do that because this is rich people property that's burning up right now. So he's not going to do that. He's not going to go up and buy their stuff. But the government may come get it, eminent domain, and do something with it.
Because North Hollywood.
Oh, go ahead.
Just there's more status there. There's more rich people there, and it kind of makes me wonder. Like that's probably why there's so much news coverage because it's affecting rich people. The submersible with all those billionaires. That's why we kept hearing about it. It was billionaires. It wasn't thrill seeker, regular average Joe who's got a 9-to-5 and does some fun stuff on the weekends. There were billionaires who went down to see the Titanic. We covered them on the news for weeks with a clock that counted down. So this is rich people being affected.
Yeah, these fires have been kind of covered here because they've been getting worse here over the last 5 or 6 years or so. But yeah, I mean that definitely plays a role in I guess the response. I will say that the natural disasters here recently have been pretty good ratings getters for the network. So regardless of who it's happening to, they're going to want to post about it if it's big enough.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Black people live in California. Dwayne, don't rock with his black app. Hey, you know what? That's a good segue to the wrestling portion of this, right? Because I feel away. I haven't been really privy to the whole comings and goings of wrestling stories right now, but I'm sitting up there listening to them talk about this original tribal chief, and he got named an actual tribal chief from Chief Tananaka or whatever his name was, that they showed, and it was just like, oh man, y'all know he had black too, right? Y'all know he just not like 100% Samoan. I'd be wondering sometimes if Dwayne remembers that he's half black sometimes, But yeah, let's talk about wrestling, I guess.
I hate that a guy who's of two different backgrounds can't just celebrate one of his backgrounds without everyone having to bring
it's fine. It's fine. He's got the tribal tattoos, and he's the original tribal.
What's the black tattoo? What's the
I don't know. I didn't say that's all I'm saying is that from about maybe like 2005 on, like when The Rock cut his hair, like when he came back bald to wrestling.
You mean the Nation of Domination?
I don't think he was ever really a black guy anymore.
He wasn't a brother.
Yeah, they marketed him as a black guy when he was the Brahma Bull. When he got that tribal tattoo on his joint, he was Samoan. Okay. And then everywhere else he was Samoan too.
There's only a handful of times Dwayne has been black. One was in Tyler Perry's the cameo. He was black there for a split second, and Why'd I Get Married? 2.
Gridiron Gang.
He was black in Gridiron Gang.
Was awful, Darius. Why did you bring that back up to me?
I'm just saying
he was Janet Jackson's love interest right after her husband killed himself.
I'm just
that
saying.
was the worst part of that movie.
We just
saying he was black for a split second.
I found it.
Cool too, but yeah,
I found it. He said, "Carry my Samoan, Polynesian, and black culture around the world with great respect, pride, kindness, mana, humility, and warrior spirit." He added in my black culture because he's not one who kind of doesn't wear it or avoid it. He black and Samoan in my vein, country in my vein. What's my name? Rock. Like he He's not someone hiding. Yeah, that one. Tech 9. This guy isn't that, and I hate the just that when he practices the Samoan things. It's like, oh, I bet you wouldn't.
Hey, Jill, I walked you through. He got tattoos. I walked you through the promo in WWE. I mean, other than that tweet, other than a post on social media, which
Hip hop is black.
what else has he? What else is his friendship with Kevin Hart? Like what else? What else is black about Dwayne? What else does he do that exemplifies
Dwayne
black
is
culture?
like Dwayne
What
is
did
like
Chadwick
Bo.
Boseman do?
He's like Bo. He's black when it suits him.
What did Chadwick Boseman do?
Yeah, what can he do? Like, what's Chadwick? Like, does he got to change HBCU like retroactively? What can Dwayne Johnson
first
do?
of all, it's not an apt comparison because Chadwick Boseman's not biracial, so there's no duality of
I'll tell you
identity
why
there.
I said Chadwick Boseman. I was just choosing a black actor, and I was gonna I'll do Aldous Hodge. She's alive, and it's not about the biracial.
This isn't an issue because Dwayne has forsaken his blackness. It's because he literally has a dual identity, and I feel like sometimes the black half of that dual identity takes a back seat. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he stripped himself of his blackness, but you compared him against wholly black people who only have that identity.
Your
It's
evidence
that's
not what I was going for. Your evidence for his blackness taking a back seat is that he would do something.
He doesn't
with
talk
Samoan
about it.
side.
He does not. He doesn't do. What is he? What is?
If he was ever talking about his background, he would always mention that. I don't see a guy who's shying away from any of it. My father was Soul Man Rocky Johnson, first black tag team champion. He's very passionate and expressive when it comes to his side.
I'll be honest with you.
I don't know.
Maybe
where
I'm not a
you're
big rock
all of
fan,
this,
but
man.
I've never really.
He did it
heard
on
this
Jimmy
man
Fallon
talk about being black.
He did it on Fallon. He had Roman Reigns next to him, but then he was talking about how Roman's dad fought in a tag match against my dad.
And I'm really not trying to drag The Rock here, but the examples you're providing are tantamount to what Drake does. He goes on interviews and he talks about his black father. He talks about spending time in Memphis when he grew up. He talks about how he sees himself as a black man. Like that's everything that Drake does. So that makes Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson more black. That's him.
But I did ask you what makes Aldous Hodge a black man who's fully black. So
black.
Well, then The Rock, he's black. For example.
He's black, but The Rock is also Polynesian, right? He is biracial. So again, I am not trying to strip the man of his blackness. I'm just saying that when he is seen in public, most of the time he is seen as a Polynesian man. That's just how he presents. That's how people present him. It's not always his fault, but
maybe
it is
if
what it
he
is.
highlighted his colored side a little more. Maybe people would look at him as, black over being whatever his other half is.
And it's not just what you say. I should be able to look at your life.
If he highlights it.
He's answering. He's answering that. How you should be able to look at his life. And
I should be able to look at your life. Like I'm looking at Chadwick Boseman. You look at his family. Look who he spends his time with. His friends in the industry. Like the things, the initiatives that he supports. I can look at your life and tell what's important to you about yourself.
Definitely.
And I'm not trying to judge The Rock on his blackness. He can have it. It can be as important to him as he says it is.
Yeah, I'm not policing.
I'm just saying I don't see it. That's all I'm saying.
You got your card. Who am I to take your card away from you?
I'm not taking his card away from him. I'm just saying.
Keep your card.
It'd be nice to see you at the cookout every now and again.
It'd be nice if you swipe that motherfucker every now and then, but keep your card.
Like we went and gave
how they handled Obama. Look at how they handled Kamala. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Enough with that. I'm sure Hulk Hogan equally hates him and Booker T the same. It's not no 50%. Darius, as the non-wrestling fan, Netflix had Raw. Okay, it was on Monday. What is the news stories that spoke to you coming out of the WWE?
I'm be honest with you. I didn't even know they had anything going.
Bro, just talk to me. Talk to me. Darius playing around. Talk to me.
Marcus, how many times on this podcast would I go?
I know you did. You told him for several weeks. It's okay. I thought that first of all, them starting off with back-to-back speeches was a little bold.
Yes,
it was a little bold because you had kind of people. I was hyped because you brought out The Rock. Obviously, I was watching. You brought
Triple
out
H
John
first.
Cena. You know, it was cool. Triple H, The Rock, and you had Cena in there too. But I think they probably should have started with more action. I was still waiting for somebody to jump out and hit The Rock or something like that. Then I was waiting for him to hit Roman Reigns when he gave him the tribal thing back. None of that kind of happened.
Fala.
The Ula Fala. There you go. None of that happened. It was a little bit slow to start there. I feel like the first 15 minutes of it was just a big ass commercial for Netflix. It's just a big ass commercial. It was WWE thanking them for bringing them on the platform. It was let's go around the arena and see all the celebrities. First of all, how long has Pat McAfee been on Raw?
I did see the celebrities.
The celebrities are there. They were out in spades. Cully
I
McCall.
saw them. I saw Macaulay
Yo.
Culkin.
was there.
The Macaulay
Macaulay
Culkin's
Culkin.
intro.
Was there.
He had his hat down like that. It was covering his face, and then he goes, "Hey,
Married to Brenda song. Yeah, I saw Macaulay.
You did?
Did The Rock say the line? Did he say it?
Oh yeah, he did the eyebrow, all of it.
Finally,
He did a
The
close
Rock
up.
has come back to Los Angeles.
And he had like goosebumps all over, and the camera caught that.
He
and
actually had goosebumps. That was dope. I didn't
Yeah.
care for the last ride taker. I don't know where the hell that came from. I didn't like the bait and switch with the gong and then going to goddamn what's the guy who did his
American Badass, Limp Bizkit,
Yeah,
or not Limp Bizkit. Maybe it's Kid Rock. Maybe I
it was
don't
Kid
know.
Rock. That's who it was. Goddamn Kid Rock. I didn't want to hear that
So,
shit. When he went,
says,
"Dong," I was like, "Oh shit, it's about to be Taker." And he came
he
out.
said he's put away the character. Now it's only Motorcycle Taker. He won't be the dead man,
Okay.
quote unquote.
Put yourself away.
No, he's got to
Try
use
yourself.
motorcycle. No,
So
motorcycle.
that's going to be his thing now. He's just going to come out and roll around the ring in his motorcycle every 5 years or so, every 2 years or so. I don't want to see that.
Wrestle.
Put the overcoat on, or
Did you
sit
hear
out.
them? Did you hear the fans? They cheered him. People want to see that.
It's going to run thin.
If he does it often, you're right. When's the next time we see him though? The last time we saw him was in April, and then there's this time, which is January. Yeah, it's been 9 months. Every 9 months, you surprise a crowd. You can do it. Undertaker is very respected, even though they were in California and it's a blue state. Everybody, you know what I'm talking about? Like people are
but
saying
that's the reason why I know it wasn't a Republican thing about what you're probably about to bring up next.
yeah,
Because
that's
you're right. They cheered Taker. Oh, Penn State sucks. Penn State sucks. Jesus Christ. I'm sitting over here trying to watch the end of the game. Penn State's ass. But then again, I don't want Notre Dame to win. This is terrible. Yes. Talk about Hulk Hogan.
Well, brother, you see, this man in 2007 audio, he didn't know he was being recorded. We heard some vulgar language of his, and he said he wouldn't want his daughter to date somebody black unless they were 8 foot. And there was weird parameters there.
Oh, he didn't say somebody black.
Oh, this billionaire's son or something like that, right? Oh, yeah, he didn't say something. Yeah, okay. Now,
yeah, that's what I said. He didn't say somebody black.
This guy had a chance. 8 years later, when it was revealed in it became a news story, the WWE said, okay, we're going to cut ties from him. Then they brought him back 3 years later, which was weird, strange. He apologized and said, no, all of my friends, I was in Tampa it was the less well-off neighborhoods.
Or South Tampa.
Yeah, that's the way we
they all
talk.
said that word.
Yeah, which was no, Terry Bollea. That is not what people were saying to you.
You
And
just know that he heard somebody say that on TV and just use that as his excuse. He heard that somewhere. Like, oh man, they all use it. Why can't we say it? And he was like, yeah, that's right. Why can't we say it? And that became his story.
But it makes the problem. You said a word you're not supposed to say, which is not the problem. It is your mindset. You literally said the words, I am racist, in that leaked audio. Now, his son was in jail and he was calling him on the phone. Strong AR on the brother. His son was on the phone with him and he was like, hey, if we die, I don't want to be reincarnated as a black guy, the Blizzak guy. He said some joke like that on the phone. That was a leaked audio also. And okay, that's 2 instances in a row.
2 for 2, baby.
Recently, he was selling his beer, and one of the models for the Real American beer was a black woman. get her out of there. You know, we can't have her.
Yeah, I remember that. Yes, that just happened.
That's 3 set strikes. Now I can listen.
Hell no, brother.
Racism. Me and Marcus have fought on Liam Neeson and what he said and what he did, and I was more so defending him. Like, no, people can change when they realize that they're wrong if they call it out. Hulk Hogan did not do that. He failed to recognize and acknowledge what he did. He just kind of changed it and lied about it and said, no, this is the way I meant it. Since then, his actions have proven to me he has not come back on the other side of this race thing. I'm done with him. And so was the Los Angeles crowd.
Because I don't think Mel Gibson has ever really apologized to black people, and he's making movies. Like, he's making good, like, big productions now.
Shout out to wrestling for not being the movies, because you had a live feedback.
Yeah. Now that is the truth. Wrestling is one of it is so unique in that throughout sports, throughout any other type of media, you will not find a platform where you have such a direct, honest, visceral connection to the feelings of your audience. You hear it now, you hear it true, and there's nothing you can do to fight it. He was sitting, yeah, brother, and I love you, Hulkamaniacs, and the whole time, boo, get him out of here, boo, you, brother, get that shit out of here, get out of here, boo. There was nothing anybody could do to change that. We heard it at home. I'm sure it was even more loud inside of the arena. Dog, I had the closed captions up on the TV.
Yeah, what did the closed captions say?
The closed caption said crowd audibly boos. that they transcribed your L, bro. It's over. Dunskies. They hate you more than people hate Mel Gibson? Buddy, hang it up. Now that is a person we probably should never see again. Because
there's crowds. They'll be fine in Boston, which is a blue state, everybody.
Oh,
they'll be fine there.
Boston's not a blue state. Massachusetts, you mean? Is it not black?
Oh, Massachusetts is a state. You're right. My bad. It's just a big word. I didn't want to say it.
I got you.
Hey, brother. Yeah.
So,
I did see the booing too. I saw the booing.
Did?
Yeah.
You see Travis Scott also?
I did see.
What the hell was he on? You can smoke. You can smoke weed on WWE now.
The Clippers arena is the only thing that would stop them now because Netflix doesn't have restrictions the way that the TV audience used to.
It sure don't. Because I'm like, is he smacking the blunt right now on TV?
He was.
Damn, that's crazy. That kind of got me thinking. I gotta find my pen real quick.
So the next thing to say is Oba Femi in the developmental on WWE won their NXT championship, and that may be a reaction of, oh, we got to show how we're not racist. So they put it on the Nigerian brother. Trick Williams is not the champion anymore, and if this guy gets called up, I'm amped. Now we're just having a wrestling discussion, so I know I should pull it back. I am happy with the future of pro wrestling, and I think the Netflix deal was great. 5 million viewers, which is, they used to get like 2 million something viewers on a regular basis. They got 5 million this week. That's of course great, but we know that the first episode is highly promoted and marketed, and they won't always be like this. You're not gonna have Vanessa Hudgens and fluffy Gabriel Iglesias on the front. You know, so many celebrity cameos. O'Shea Jackson was over there, and he was tweeting, "Yeah, they booed him out the building. They were smoking that Hogan pack." O'Shea Jr. He's got a podcast too. Actually, I think I gotta check it out. He was on Good Morning. Jr.? O'Shea Jackson. Sorry.
Who are you talking about? Oh, and I was
Ice Cube's son, O'Shea Jackson Jr.
Yeah, he was there.
So, and he has a wrestling podcast. He's a fan, and he's probably gonna report on it. But he was on Good Morning America and couldn't do it. I was
talking about Dominic Mysterio. When did he turn into such a little shit?
You know who's got him beat though? The New Day, because they were talking to Big E.
Yeah, I see that they're on their heel turn right now.
It's a wrestling podcast. I know. Let's stop that. Let's stop it. Dorian, the ruler. Yeah, he actually said, "I am the captain now." That was great.
One last thing before we get off wrestling talk. Best thing of the night. I'm sitting in there watching the first fight with Roman Reigns and who's the other guy? I don't even know who that was. And the other small
Solo
guy.
Sikoa.
Sikoa. There you go. And my son walks in, right? He's like, "Oh, who was that?" I'm like, that's Roman Reigns. He's like, okay. And so he's watching it. He's sitting there, and then Roman Reigns goes down. He's like, oh, he's probably going to lose. And I was like, I don't know, man. Roman Reigns wins a lot. You should probably sit down and watch it. And so he sits down. He's watching, and Roman starts fighting back. And all of a sudden, they start trading finishers. Roman hits a couple spears. He's locked in. Watch the whole episode until it's time for him to go to bed. So I think we've successfully, Netflix has created a new wrestling fan.
He liked it when he said, ooh,
Oh, yeah.
ooh, why is the camera not on him, though? There, they got it.
Ooh.
I can't show too much because Netflix is very particular lately. They will. The New Day said something about Kendrick Lamar, right? Didn't they say that? You guys are just booing because Drake won the beef. Yeah, they said they had a line like that. It was great.
That's crazy.
They were in LA. They were in Inglewood. I think, isn't Intuit Dome in Inglewood?
I have no clue.
Isn't Intuit Dome the... No, it's not. The Forum is where they had the pop-out. Okay.
Yeah, the old Lakers state. That's the Forum. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Are we going to swerve on these? I might swerve on...
Roman
Reigns
Reigns
in the corner.
have 5 years. He was champion for like 5 years.
It was 5 years?
They said that while he was walking out during his walkout of that game.
It was that long? It wasn't
5 years.
That's crazy.
And my son wasn't a wrestling fan. He's 7, so he didn't even know what pro wrestling was. All like that.
Next topic. Tweaker is a banger. And then TMZ said, LiAngelo Ball, I'm on a roll. He lands a set at Rolling Loud.
Yeah, that tells me 2 things. Amazing for Jello Ball. That's great. I'm
This
glad
is for his
the
song,
motion
right?
is going. Yeah, I'm gonna slide on that corner. Whoa, whoa. But this also tells me that Rolling Loud is probably not gonna be a thing for the next like maybe like 5 years. But
why?
That's great. Well, they've always kind of like packed the day with little known or up and coming stars. Jello Ball has 2 songs out, and they both come out within the last 14 days. Yeah, 10 days. So if that's all it takes to get a set at Rolling Loud, yeah, we're probably about maybe like 3-4 years away from this not even being a thing. But they have the same headliners every year. It's always some variation of Travis Scott, Cardi B. Some years they'll have Uzi. It's like 7 mainstays that they just keep recycling throughout the main events. Anyways, Playboy Cardi, ASAP. Yeah, it's just Peso Puma's new.
YG
Playboy Cardi
and
used to
Quavo.
be on the undercard though. He used to be on one of the smaller acts. As far as the song,
Playboy Cardi, he's recently come out with a new song, hasn't he? Is he okay? Is he
okay?
To be live?
Man. Who knows? Jello Ball. The song isn't bad though. It's given like early 2000s. I made fun of it on the stream. I thought it had no motion. People were playing this shit all over the place. So I'll eat crow on that one.
It's a mid-pack. Well, who's traveling to this California show? Nobody. It's a California people who like him from UCLA. He's got a base. He is justified here, and he's not the top name.
Not Cali at all. The sound is not even close to Cali. It's like Louisiana. It's southern, like early 2000s Cash Money. This shit sounds like it should have Juvenile on it. He needs to reach out to Juvenile and see if he'll get on the remix. I'm dead ass.
My God.
My Prince on the corner. Whoa.
Shout out to his father.
So
like
go ahead.
Like Drake, he is someone from a wealthy upbringing. I don't know what he knows about swerving on corners.
He doesn't.
So why are we okay with this?
He grew up in
tattoo?
Chino Hills.
Like, it's weird why he's well, everyone has different reasons for the Drake thing, but knowing LiAngelo,
because it's fun right now. It's fun. He's had 2 songs. He quit basketball because he's the lesser of the brothers. So now he's rapping, and now it's fun. That's why people are doing it, because it's like, oh, this is fun. This is dope. He's not, it's not like he's not at the status of an Aubrey Graham for people to be like, brother, you're rapping about shit you're not living. Right now, he's just in a fun stage. So no one gives a fuck if LiAngelo is he could be rapping about going to space. No one's gonna question it. As long as it's fun, or saying he's been to space. No one's gonna question that shit. As long as it's fun and he's still, got the dance, people dance, it doesn't matter. Like I said, he's not on an
That's what he's missing. You right, Darius. He need that. You ain't doing that shit on purpose, baby.
Yeah.
Brother, let me swerve it, baby. He need that. He needs a viral dance to go with it. See, he should. See, he did half right, because he got his brothers and he got all these other NBA players playing this shit after the games on their lives. That shit is actually very smart. And using those relationships that he's built in his time with Lonzo and actually trying to get in the NBA and with LaMelo as well to make this shit go. That was very smart, because people follow popular people. They follow celebrities to do everything. But he should have had like a dance or an idea of who he wanted to get on the track. Cause man,
if he can repeat this and have a hot new dance song before summer, he needs a summer trap money kicking. He needs a summer.
He need that dance.
Say that wasn't a summer bop. That was a summer, bro. I couldn't get away from that fucking song. I hate that song, but I couldn't get away from that song. That was a summer bop. So he needs one of those.
Lonzo Ball had better songs. He had ZO2s and Goku. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Big Bro.
Oh, I know what you mean. Mm-hmm.
See, we rocking ZO2s. Yeah, man. They're talented brothers. They're a talented bunch. I guess if that basketball never worked out, they were just going to be like the new Jackson 3.
They could have done WWE, though. LeVar would have been a character on. He still can be a character on WWE.
Black Paul Heyman.
Of course. Black Miz. All right. What is everyone here for? Oh, we know. The Fantastic Four trailer news. There is none.
I will say this before we move to Fantastic Four. Not rolling, well, not the music part related, but I did see a business venture idea. I'm always for, never doing 9 to 5s. For those of you that don't know, I don't do a 9 to 5 anymore. So my schedule is all cleared up to where I can put so much that I feel so free. I haven't had a 9 to 5 in like a month. I haven't really gotten to talk about that, but I feel fantastic. Anyway, anything that can get you away from the corporate bullshit, I'm all for. Now, this is something that you could do, and I'm just putting this out there because I did see this on TikTok, and I'm mildly thinking about this. You can get a car, take it to a music festival, rent it out, and charge people to fuck in the back. Do you know how much, bro? She said she made 10,000 from just that festival, nigga.
First of all,
business venture.
Second of all,
not your car.
Hurt is on your ass. Hurt on your ass. I swear to God, you about to get denied every Toro you apply for the next 10 times because of this stream right here.
Telling you, it's a great business venture. You should.
That is
I saw it on TikTok.
That people be that horny out in the football stadium. That's crazy. But I guess it's drug induced, a lot of hormones jumping around, music. I guess.
And you leave rich.
Are you spraying it down? Are you cleaning? You just letting them do it on top of it?
I would think she went through the thing. She like showed like a thing she put over the seeds. And I'm like, you're on to something. You are on to something. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's like you just park, get out, you do what you gotta do. I'm gonna go hang out.
So do they install a bed, or do they just like, give us the biggest car you got?
On the seats, chill. They put something over the seats and you go to work. We ain't here for a long time. We here for a good one. Come on. Wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. I'm trying to make Travis Scott tonight. He's headlining.
It would be a Travis Scott concert.
Travis Scott.
Post up by the airport and offer rides to tourists, skip the commission to the taxi and ride share companies. You could.
I feel like that's illegal.
but it's done. It's done all the time.
Yeah,
It's done at grocery stores too.
license for that. They catch you doing that, they're gonna take your ass to jail.
Is that illegal?
That's illegal.
Really?
You
I
need to
can't
have
offer a
you need
motherfucker
to
a
be
ride?
You can, yeah, you can. You just can't be out there like advertising your services without no merchant license. You can't be like, hey, come get in my car. I'll give you a ride for $10. You can be like, hey, are you in trouble? You need a ride? I'll help you. But you
It
can't
should
be,
be
like,
illegal
offering
at.
service.
It should be illegal at airports. No,
it should be legal or illegal.
it should be illegal. I only want taxi services and like
And ride
real
shares.
credible people we can hold accountable should something go sour. I want these guys who are coming from another country, don't speak the language, to know at least they're in safe hands.
That's true, but then God forbid somebody loses their funds somehow and they need a kind soul to take them a little bit to their destination. So I guess there's much more in line with what you're saying than my scenario for sure.
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four.
Okay, the trailer for Superman is out, and that's a July 11 movie. It's been 2 weeks. The July 25 movie is Fantastic Four. Where's the trailer?
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
I'll tell you where it is. They're afraid. They just realized that this is hitting Avengers level. Superman trailer is hitting Avengers level of views. They will not be telling you anything about this movie because they're not sure they want it 2 weeks after Superman happens. Marvel's afraid.
I don't think they're moving, bro. I don't think they're moving up a Superman.
You went a completely different way. I thought we were about to. No, I do not think Marvel is afraid of James Gunn's fractured DC when they don't even know who Batman is. You got Mangold saying one thing, you got Reeves saying another, you got James saying something else. Marvel's not afraid of anything that DC is doing, I don't think. And the reason I don't think is because, one, the built-up history that Marvel already has. We've been doing this since 2008. You just started this. And yes, this is your first trailer. I think Marvel wants the competition. I think they need the competition. So I don't think they move at all. From what we've heard from scoopers and things like that, that trailer is going to air Super Bowl weekend, and that they are still going to commit to the exact same date. And I hope that they do. I hope they do.
I feel like so Superman has also had, along with the big numbers from the trailer views and all that, they've also had that lingering story about the screenings. So if I'm going to take the internet buzz about the trailer, even though obviously it was getting pushed like an ad, you know what I mean? It was getting pushed to a lot of people to get those numbers. If I'm going to take that with a grain of salt, then also have to take the rumors about the screenings into account as well. Like, you got to view that holistically. And so if I'm Marvel, does that make me run away from the date altogether just because they had a popular trailer? Right? Like, we still don't have any evidence that the purchasing audience cares for this at all. And you're not going to get that from a view count on a trailer. So there's really no actual, like, there's no tangible reason to move the date yet. Right now, the closer we get to that date, the buzz will start to level out, and it'll be real, right? Whatever people are feeling at that moment, the closer you get to the date, that's their actual feeling. This right now, this is big Wakanda Forever first trailer energy. No woman, no cry. And then all of a sudden, oh my God, I'm going to go see it 7 times. No, you're not. You're going to see it 1. You're going to see it 1.
And Nicki Marina needs to do a video about what's happening, because Shuri is not the Black Panther anymore. And this is about the misogynist. You remember that one?
Why isn't she damning people to hell? It's been a full 24 hours for this rumor has broken about Chadwick Boseman's character being recasted, and she's not damning anyone to hell.
So I'm not the only one who hit refresh on her TikTok. Okay. Yeah. That's what happened with being.
Before we move to
baby, it's been 24 hours. You only got 24 more to respond.
This is a scene from the Fantastic Four, or an actor from the Fantastic Four who's being seen.
This.
I'm starting to think that's T'Challa, bro. That's the recast that they did. That's
I don't think so. But I will say this. To add to the Fantastic Four not moving and not being afraid, the rumor, if true, if Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom is the first appearance we do see him in a post-credit scene here, not saying that that's going to be advertised in the trailers or anything like that, but once that word of mouth gets out, that's going to be the first time you get to see Doom. People get to see Robert Downey Jr.'s performance as Victor Von Doom. People already went crazy for that. It was split, but people still went crazy for it. And people are still talking about it today. And that was during the summer that was announced. So then you have to also look at, after the Fantastic Four drops the trailer for the Super Bowl, they also have, right before that movie comes out, San Diego Comic-Con, where they are probably going to bring out Downey. They're probably going to bring out Pascal, Kirby, and the rest of them. Or either San Diego Comic-Con is before or after. If it's after, it's leading you straight into
it's
Avengers.
July 24 is the San Diego Comic-Con, and the movie is July 25. So by day
before.
3,
So it'll be the day before. So if you don't think Kevin Feige or in Marvel are very cognizant of what's going on with Superman and things like that, and they don't have something up their sleeve to up the ante for, because this is also the first film back. So we'll see, back to formula. This is supposed to be the first film outside of that Phase 4 mentality, outside of those Phase 4 writers. Brave New World is the last Phase 4 movie we're supposed to be getting. Outside of what Marcus was saying, we've heard the rumors about the screenings with Superman. We've not heard anything bad about Fantastic Four. We've not heard about reshoots. We've not heard about, they're struggling this. The writers are this. They've changed the story.
It's been very quiet.
It's been so far a seamless, smooth ride over there. And if we're to believe everything, this is Kevin Feige's baby, he's been wanting to bring Marvel's first family in here and things like that. I can tell you this film is going to be taken with great care. And this is going to be the first film that catapults us into what is really going on with Avengers Doomsday. The rest of it, blah, 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 blah. Marvel's not afraid of what James Gunn is doing with Superman.
Critical Mass, I don't know if it's necessarily confidence in Feige. It's not. I know for me, it's not confidence in Feige. As much as
it's
it
definitely
is,
not that.
I don't believe in what James Gunn is doing over there at DC.
So it's not. It's what Drake did with Kendrick. It's like, you are an underling who goes on tour with me. Okay, you're not gonna upstage me. And here comes James Gunn. He's gonna say, you're not like us. So James Gunn's gonna come with it.
Okay, I mean, sure, he can certainly exceed expectations. I think the very haphazard way he's going about, putting things together while feigning organization. Oh, we do things a certain way here, and we're getting all of our ducks in a row. But it's very clearly been some turmoil. I don't think most of the time, just like you could probably say about a lot of studios, but he knows which way is up. I think he postures like there's always this constant, consistent plan, and we're so different from Marvel. But we're seeing it play out right now with the director who was supposed to be doing Brave and the Bold, and now everybody and their mom, including My Time to Shine, doesn't even believe he's going to get a chance to direct that project if it ever even comes out. So,
and it's supposedly not even. This is why the thing with, and that's to answer Critical Mass. It's not a confidence in Feige at all. I do believe. Do I have more confidence in what Marvel is doing in their however long years of being a studio over what James Gunn is doing? Of course I do. Even with how shit Phase 4 was, the not recast of T'Challa, I still have more faith in that studio than what James Gunn is doing currently. And the reason being is because all of it's what we talked about the last time. It's more fractured than when he got up in that closet and talked to us about DC being fractured. It's way more fractured. Way more fractured. The first time you show us your Batman is in Creature Commandos, and now we're hearing rumors that Manigold has been let go a long time ago. He's just out here just showing face, blah, blah, blah,
Roach
blah,
just
blah.
said he gave that update back in February of 24.
Yeah. and that Pattinson may and may not. Reeves at one point was saying, no, we're not doing that. Now, just last week said, well, we have to wait to see what's going on.
Well, yeah, we don't know what's going on. That's because somebody threatening that job, somebody threatening that butt, and he's not just making threats. Right, a threat turned into the Batman 2's being delayed.
Yep.
So now it's like, all right, we don't even know what's about to happen now.
Exactly. They said it was delayed to where 2-3 days later, Gunn said it's on pause or something like that. But then Matt Reeves just a few days ago said, no, we're filming this year. We're starting this year. The script is on. It's fine. They don't know.
They don't know.
So I have more faith where I'm not hearing shit about the Fantastic Four over what the fuck DC is doing.
We're on different wavelengths on that one.
Yeah. Gunn wants Reeves to lead it because it's already established. It's popular. I think he believes he can make it work. I don't think Reeves is on that same page, right? Especially while James Gunn is still telling everybody, yeah, no, we're committed to Elseworld stories. Okay, well then be committed to my Elseworld story. If you're committed to my Elseworld story, then I should be able to go ahead and get my sequel out in the same amount of time that Todd Phillips got his out. Side note, I watched that film for the first time last night. What in the holy fuck did they do to that movie?
I refuse.
Oh my God, it's so horrible. It is terrible.
I bet.
I mean, it's god awful, y'all. It's 2 hours and 18 minutes, and we maybe move 7 days from the point of the last movie. I swear to God, we maybe spent a week's worth of a trial, and that's all that the motion that happened. And then what they do to the character of Arthur Fleck. Oh my God. Oh my God. That was an absolute awful movie. I've never seen anything awful with Lady Gaga in it. This was awful. It was bad.
Yeah, no, I can't. And I agree with Critical Mass there on the popularity thing. I think that is where I had talked about this a while ago about, them going up against each other. That is something that I do take into consideration with this is the popularity of Kal-El opposed to Marvel's First Family. Marvel's First Family has had 3 films, and they all have underperformed, especially that last one. This is different. It's under the MCU and blah, 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 but Kal-El's popularity. And to what they said about, to go back a little bit about that Batman showing up in Creature Commandos. It's not the fact, I don't want to make it sound like, oh, he showed up in Creature Commandos. It's not the fact he showed up in Creature Commandos as his first appearance. It's the fact that no one's fucking watching Creature Commandos. So the only way that you could push to show us that Batman was in Creature Commandos was for James Gunn to tweet about it. I mean, because no one's watching your fucking show.
I didn't feel like it was nearly as viral as like when stuff happened on Invincible or stuff happened on X-Men 97. Penguin, like stuff was all over the internet when stuff happened on those shows. It just wasn't as engaging until, like you said, James Gunn tweeted about it, and then everybody was talking, oh, well, who's that guy? Who's that? It must be it must be the likeness of whoever he's casting in Brave and the Bold. And then everybody started talking about, wait, when is Brave and the Bold happening?
So if you give them a reason to watch it, like Batman, people might go and check it out on their streaming service. If we give people a reason to watch Skeleton Crew, just bringing it to that. If you just use the characters in something in the future, five years down the road, you can get Disney viewers.
Oh, you mean the way that they put? Yeah, okay. So that makes sense. Yes, I wish they would have done that for Skeleton Crew because I would be a little bit more interested in finishing the series.
Well, something will happen with these characters in Mandalorian season 7 or something, and you'll say, "Whoa, aren't you?" Yeah, that's Wim. He'll be older and whatnot. But I think you could do something there. Agatha, same with Agatha. I guess you could do the same there.
Them showing Batman and Creature Commandos, though, for me personally, I don't want to speak for everyone. It did not make me want to watch that episode of Creature Commandos, the next episode of Creature Commandos, or start Creature Commandos.
It wasn't enough of a cameo. You're right.
No, I don't even know if he would have got down there and beat people up if I would have said, God, I gotta watch this episode of Creature Commandos. I probably would watch, if James would have posted that clip, because he would have, because no one's watching Creature Commandos, that's where I would have seen it.
No, if Batman came in with some dialogue, this is happening in Central City, and not to mention that boy in Dakota, and he just starts talking, and gives you all of the universe, all of what's going on this Earth, we would go, oh, wait, this is like really, really important news that they're giving us. I heard James Gunn talk about it like he didn't want to give too much. No, he can't be like that. He can't be drawn that way. He can't, like, he was trying to make it so that we haven't decided what our Batman is, so don't do anything cementing it. So I don't care. It wasn't a Batman cameo, a real one.
No, not at all. But it also just plays issue, not even the Batman thing, just more on James Gunn's DC. we're talking about you have at your fingertips. They're about to start Supergirl. We don't know anything about Wonder Woman. We don't know anything about the Flash or anything like that. But you have at your fingertips. You can use any character you want in DC. You are the president. You can do anything you want. You can take any dope ass characters and you can do anything you want. Launch your studio with some hype ass dope shit to really compete with Marvel. But the news 2 weeks ago was Clayface has been greenlit. And when you have A-tier godlike characters at your fingertips, you go 26 letters back to Z and you want to do a Clayface film? I don't know where our priorities are. Like I'm gonna be honest with you. And again, if you are looking for the Clayface, I'm happy for you. Clayface is again God characters at your fingertips, and we're doing Clayface. So I don't know what James is doing. Now that could segue us to potentially a studio that might know what they're doing.
Maybe.
And that is, if they are for sure, really, and I don't know if I truly believe this, recasting T'Challa. So that's what everybody is here for. We have kept y'all long enough. This has been something that, I have said over and over. I don't know if they're going to do this. I just don't know. There are two conflicting reports. There's what Jeff Sneider has said, which was a hot rumor. Yeah, go ahead and play that if you want. And then there was what My Time said.
Is the way they go. There is an Avengers Secret Wars. There is Doomsday coming. There are portals. There are multiverse situations. So, A, how did you come to the story? What do you think of the story? And B, do you think they've already got somebody in mind? And can you hint at who turned it down or no? Because you speculate about that in your newsletter.
I am not going to hint at who turned it down.
Damn.
We'll speculate.
I don't know who, if anyone.
Do you want to I can pause it. Do you want to speculate on it?
Yeah. I have a couple theories actually. So my first theory is that they offered it to Michael B. Jordan. And the reason why I say that, just stick with me here.
I'm not at you. I'm more so at the idea of Killmonger being.
To think of it. Well, what did they just do to introduce a major villain for Secret Wars? What did they do? They recasted it with Robert Downey Jr.
But I still think it's a red herring, and he's going to be playing Iron Man. But okay, yeah,
that's cool. But I'm saying that tells me that they don't really have that harsh guidelines on who could play these variants that are going to show up in Secret Wars. We've also heard rumors of them bringing back the OG Avengers as villain versions of themselves. Your Steve Rogers, your Natasha Romanoff. So that would be pretty consistent with what has already been established with the Robert Downey Jr. casting. If you have the OG good guys being the bad guys, you got the OG good guy being the bad guy with Robert Downey Jr., and then you got an OG bad guy being a good guy with Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger playing a T'Challa variant. And I could also see why he would automatically turn that down because of how connected he is to the current cast and crew. Right. And I don't want to mess up what I got going on, emotion I got going on by trying to be the next Chadwick Boseman. Like, I've been able to walk my path, even having that connection to him in spite of his death, unfortunately. I don't want to tie myself to that any more than I already have to. You know what I mean?
I can see that.
That's where my mind was going first. Second theory was John David. Because if we were still sticking with that other, the idea that we were thinking that maybe him and his father were a package deal. Maybe we get a T'Challa variant along with Denzel's character, whoever he's going to be in the MCU. If that happened, the only person that I could give any type of credence or any type of grace in turning down a role of this magnitude is if you were actually, like, if you had a relationship with that person from an age that predates us knowing who you are, you ever touching the screen, right? Like if you were a child in high school or in your very first years of college, playing college football. You weren't even thinking about playing. You weren't even thinking about acting. Your father starts bringing around this young guy that he's mentoring. He's paying for his schooling. Maybe that type of relationship is something that would keep you from taking over his role for the sake of solidifying it, or what was noted in the article, right? I don't want to risk my budding career. I feel like I got motion going on. And if you're John David Washington, I think that's what you would say about yourself. I don't want to slow that down by, oh, well, people hate my T'Challa version. Oh, you're not as good as Chadwick.
And
that is the only
risk
one I'm giving that. That's the
and
only one.
And he's not this poor man who's actor who's just looking for the big break. He's fine. So he can afford to say no.
I thought it was weird though that he mentioned that, because we've seen at least 3 other actors speak to the contrary. You've seen Yala Noel, you've seen Aldous Hodge, and you've seen Danson Idris all respond to the call for fans for them to reprise the role of T'Challa with grace and acceptance.
Yep. So
I would love to do it. So I don't outside of some sort of actual personal relationship, which I believe John David Washington and the Washingtons have with Chadwick Boseman, I don't really see an excuse. Like if they offered this to Tyler James and Tyler James was like, no, I could never be the next Chadwick Boseman after being in 21 Bridges with Chadwick Boseman, I don't respect that at all.
Is Tyler James Everybody Hates Chris?
Not Tyler James. What is that guy? No,
Stephen James?
Stephen James. There you go. Stephen James.
Yeah, I believe both of those. And those, and I only believe both of those after just listening to what you just said, because my initial, when I heard or read the article, I thought to myself, bullshit, we're spreading lies, because there's not an actor, a black actor that would not want to cut their teeth on a role like this and be that figure for young black men, for the black community, because this is our Superman. So there's no, when I read that, I was like, no, nobody turned that shit down. So I don't really believe that they offered it. But after listening to what you just said, those 2 things make sense. And those are the only 2, like you said, that I will give that to, because I can't see anyone else saying, oh, I'm turning not only a Marvel role, but one of the Marvel roles.
Black Marvel role. Like it is the Black Marvel role. There isn't anything big.
John Boyega, I could see him saying, I don't want to do that stuff, man. I'm good. I have career trajectory. But this unknown African actor would not be saying no to that role, which is where I would go. I would get this unknown guy who speaks Xhosa already, so he'll do the accent properly. And you can pay him, and he's going to be available for everything. Pay him at a very cheap price, which means more. You pay him. If you pay him nothing, there's more money that can go to the production budget and the marketing, because you're not spending an arm and a leg on this actor who's going to be expensive. I think you got to go for the unknown, but they're not.
I hear you on the young actor side.
I feel you on that too, but
not on the he has to be from Africa. And the reason why I'm pushing, first of all, Actors Act. Secondly, Chadwick Boseman did just fine, and he was the only one in the room that could remind everyone that they should be speaking with an African dialect. And then lastly, I didn't see anybody talk about Cynthia Erivo's accent when she was playing Harriet Tubman. I didn't hear anybody talk about John Boyega's accent when he was playing Fred Hampton. I don't hear, when
Daniel Kaluuya,
excuse me. Actors act. They're gonna do
you're right. If an actor can act, that's important to me.
But I also want a name in there. Why do all? I understand that when Downey got the job as in 08 as Iron Man, he wasn't Downey like he is now. But I'm sick. I'm sick and tired of having to take the back seat. I'm sick and tired, and I'm not saying that a unknown actor is a back seat, but why are we always getting? Okay, sure, I'm saying that. Why are we always getting the leftovers? Why do we have to get? Well, you get the lesser actor. You get this. Your character's dead. No. I want the same fucking star treatment that every other character's getting. So no, I don't want some unknown actor.
Though. We get to make a star.
Yeah, you get to.
That's the other side of it, right?
I don't know if you mean that in a joking way. Because I think that's a very.
No, I'm dead serious. When you take an unknown actor and you give him a role like this, you get to create a star.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is value in upholding your stars, I guess. the staples of your industry, your community. But then there's ultimate value in creating that pathway for somebody new altogether, right? Like I see it both ways. I mean, I would love for it to be one of the actors we always talk about, Aldous or Damson or any of them. But if they went completely left and got a guy out of a little known Netflix series that they liked and thought they could handle the role, I wouldn't be mad at that either.
Right, and I'm with you.
With Tom Holland. They did it with Tom Holland.
Yeah, they did it with Tom Holland, but
I
I'm
mean,
with you. Of course,
every Marvel character has really been that. Chris
Except
Evans
for
was not.
ScarJo and
Except for Scarlett Johansson and
maybe Nick Fury.
Yeah, and Samuel Jackson. But those others were all, I mean, Hemsworth, Hiddleston, they were all unknown, really actors like that. It was Marvel that gave them these names.
we're talking for lead characters because they've had a lot of talent elsewhere, like in other
Yeah.
castings.
Yeah. I'm talking lead, like, you know, like I said, in 08, Downey wasn't Downey.
Let's listen some more.
One that they're looking at.
Okay.
And again, I'm not well versed in. Well, technically, it could be T'Challa too, or to Jones Soda, or Kiss Soda. There's so many, you know, like that's what I heard immediately after that post. It was like, well, it could be this version and that version. This, I don't fucking know.
Right.
Okay. I heard they're looking for a fucking new T'Challa for Black Panther. That's what I fucking heard.
Which tells me nothing.
To me, it makes sense.
Damn it!
Right? Like, this is Black Panther. This is one of the major characters in Marvel lore.
Yep.
And obviously, horrible what happened to Chadwick Boseman.
Of course, yes.
Are we supposed to just table this character now forever because of what happened?
It is so interesting. Jeez, man.
Isn't it?
It is so interesting. Everyone just, and I'm not mad. I'm not. I said this the last time. I don't want to come off as angry, but it's so interesting to me. I am a little angry. It's so interesting to me how everyone is just like, oh, recast now. Like, why can't they do this?
What are we just going to do? Retire the character forever?
Yeah, like it's like, where was this literally at the beginning of this year or 2024? Where this new and again, I like it because I want my man back on the screen, but it's just like it's so funny to me how it's like the child's not getting brought up. All these, it's like, duh, the multiverse, duh, this is fiction, duh. Why would it's like it's just you can't make this shit up.
Okay. Like the Eric Voss situation, I'm welcoming it because it's getting results. So
I'm happy. I am because I am. I'm just saying it's interesting how everyone is like no one's bringing up the kid. I haven't even heard I haven't heard typed Suri's name since I don't know how long. No one's talking about Suri. No one. I haven't seen anybody say, yeah, but I thought Suri was gonna get.
Give me a second. Give me a moment. Because you have to take these moments to call out people specifically, like you say. I can't. I don't forget anything. And so, even as recently with Dr. Boyce Watkins, right, kind of doing his whole engagement thing where he's fanning the flames for people. You're not less of a man if there's a female Black Panther. Well, are you going to say anything about them replacing her in this movie? Or are you not connected enough to the news to even make that assessment? Where did you just catch some Black Panther news and decide to engagement tweet for a second? Same thing with my boy FD Signifier. Now that man wrote a whole video essay talking about why it's okay and it's actually the woman's time and how as Black men.
That one. I thought you meant the one about Patrice Lumumba, but okay, yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm talking about the one he made where he was telling us that we've already had so much representation within the superhero genre that we should just accept Shuri and not be so boisterous in our calling for our character back. But then when she's lined up to get replaced in the very next movie, I get crickets.
No one is saying anything.
Crickets. Y'all was telling us we were misogynistic It's
Man.
underlying misogyny. It's also misogyny war because she's a
disrespectful.
black woman. And we the only ones fighting for that black woman now. They told y'all we were the problem because we were trying to tell you that they're playing hot potato with your positions. They're playing, oh, it's your turn. Oh, no, it's your turn, right? And that they were going to devalue Shuri in the same way that they were trying to devalue T'Challa. Now we're here. Those guys are gone. We're still here.
Yep. And you're damn right, Black Cinema. I am emotional. I've been on this train for 4 fucking years, and not a
Didn't
soul.
you get off of it? Didn't you get
No,
off it for like 2
I'm,
years?
I'm still on. I'm still on the same train. Been riding the same train. Been singing the same song. Been echoing the same things. Been saying like a broken record over and over and over. I feel like that sometimes when we talk about recast. I feel like I just said this. I just did. Like we just had this conversation. So yeah, I am emotional about it. I'm happy. Don't get me wrong. I am happy, but I'm emotional because, like I said, it's this newfound awakening that this was always the right idea. Like, why didn't we think of this before? Like, this was never really that hard to do. We could just recast him. It, like I said on Twitter earlier today, recasting T'Challa is not as convoluted as everybody is making it seem. This is a fictional world where anything and everything can happen. People saying, well, is it going to make sense if it's T'Challa from that we just, yeah, because it's comic books. This is fictional. Does it make sense does any of it make sense? Does it make sense that there's a talking tree does it make sense that there's a rat? None of it makes sense. So yes, if they want to literally raise him from the dead or make some type of, it will make sense because this is fiction. So there's no world, there's no avenue, there's nothing where you could sit here and say, this doesn't make sense to the MCU. This doesn't make sense to that. None of that. He's a scroll. Let's pull on Secret Invasion. You could pull on the fact that, Doom Wars even, with pulling in Doom. He's in a coma. He was never really dead. Any of that. But it's not as convoluted as everybody's trying to make this shit seem.
It's actually more convoluted for them to try to age up the child. But I'll say this. When we were reviewing Moon Knight, way back when, one of the things that really got to us about that series is in, I think it's episode 4. Mark gets shot in the pyramids, right? And he actually dies. Like they show him dying. He goes to his ancestral plane and makes it back into his body. Okay. Now, if Mark Spector can do that, Mark Spector can do that. And I mean, we saw every step of his afterlife. We saw the many different rooms where the different religions or different ethnic backgrounds go into certain places, right? Perfect time for us to see Bass, but hey, never mind. We're not building up Wakanda, actually. We're just making them fight, their water Mexican neighbors. They showed us how it could happen. They literally gave us the roadmap. They don't have to do anything. Send Shuri to that room that Mark was in. Make sure she go to the right room to the ancestral plane. Because we can't get back there. We don't have our herb. We got a synthetic herb, so we don't know if it's gonna send us to the right place. Let's just go to the door and walk through the front door. Let's do it easy, like Mark, and go get your brother back. It's just, to me, it's as simple as that.
It's simple.
It's very simple.
And it was simple in 2020 and it's simple in 2025. It was never hard. This decision was never hard. None of this was ever hard. And if it is a case where, because we haven't talked about Shine. If it is a case where there's Shines, which I have a hard time believing Shine, I really do. But if it is a case where Shine is saying, oh, it's just the child that they're going to age up, then again, I have been saying for the longest, and I'm going to continue to say this until Marvel Studios comes out themselves and say that we are recasting T'Challa, son of T'Chaka, the king of Wakanda, not this child. So what I have been saying, and I hate to rain on parades, is that we'll get T'Challa. I even said that even more so enhanced with the Russos coming back to direct Avengers 5 and 6. They introduced him. They understand the character. He's arguably better than Coogler does. I'm sorry for those of you Coogler lovers. He arguably better than Coogler does. So I said to myself, okay, I really strongly believe he'll be in Avengers 5 and 6. After that, though, that's the question. I know that in Jeff's report, it's rumored that even for Black Panther 3, and maybe they do that. Maybe, I don't know. But I have always said I believe that they're going to bring him in for Secret Wars, Doom Wars, whatever the fuck. And after that, they're going to stick with the child. I do say this, though. If it is going to be in Black Panther 3, they're not doing away with the kid. The kid is going nowhere. So even if T'Challa comes back,
the champions, or whatever the fuck they're going to call the Young Avengers.
He's not going to go anywhere. They just put too much into that story.
If he's going to be back for Secret Wars and Black Panther 3.
Oh, I got to check something with the champions. The comic came out. Let me see.
If he's going to be back for that, then they almost have to announce it. Right? I think. Well, no. Actually, let me flip that. If he's going to be back for Black Panther 3 and Secret Wars, they're not going to announce it. I think that they want it to be a surprise. I think they want one of those appearances to be one of those classic Marvel oh shit moments, right? If he's going to come back post Secret Wars, then they have every reason to tell us that it's happening. The one thing I don't think that they'll do regardless is tip their hand on whether or not they're giving up on the child, or whether or not it's going to be the OG T'Challa. That they're not going to tell us outright until they show it to us on the screen. Reason being is they were so strong in their language when they started this stuff. Chadwick Boseman was such a gift to us. His iteration of Black Panther goes beyond all iterations in film. So imagine having to stand by that statement while you're simultaneously telling everyone to fall in love with the new version of him.
His portrayal of T'Challa, the Black Panther, is iconic and transcends any iteration of the character in any other medium from Marvel's past. And it's for that reason that we will not recast the character.
Do that, and then turn around and try to get everybody on board with the new one. You're going to want to leave that vague until people see it on screen. You're not going to want to give a hard line stance, because that's where you set everybody up. That's where you put everybody. What we got going on?
None of the new champions resemble a T'Challa, but there are a couple who we don't even know their face or anything, and that could be like Wakandan secretly. These two could be the T'Challa on the new champions. Just saying.
They could always just write the character in too. I don't think that's a.
I've seen a lot of people saying this one too. Saying about the Fantastic Four. From everything that we know about the Fantastic Four, and you guys know, I know a lot of people don't follow the leaks and rumors. That's me. I'm one of those people that I can read the plot of the film and go in and still be shocked. So from what we know, they are the only heroes in their universe. From what we know, it's a fictitious universe. From what we know, Reed Richards is the real villain of the film. So there's no other heroes in whatever universe they're in. So I wouldn't expect T'Challa to pop up. So I've seen a lot of people saying that. I've seen a lot of people saying.
What if, okay, so we're expecting maybe to see Doom in a post-credit scene, right? So if this is a fictional universe that the Fantastic Four is in, Doom goes there. What if Doom is being chased through realities? What if there's one person who got wind of what this Dr. Doom is doing? He's causing incursions as he's bouncing from universe to universe, or excuse me, from reality to reality. What if someone pursues him? What if someone is pursuing him in hopes to save his own reality, because that's where Doom started? Maybe this Doom and our new T'Challa are from the same reality. Doom is bouncing reality, trying to find fuck knows, who knows, the Bengals or whatever. And T'Challa's chasing him in pursuit, trying to stop Doom from doing what he's doing so he can save his own universe.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's possible. And then this is the universe where the anchor being is T'Challa, and now he's dead, and we're doomed.
And now we need a new anchor being T'Challa, and all of a sudden, boom, seamless.
Yeah, but how does the rest of Wakanda treat him like he's the king of Wakanda?
That is going to be that probably should be the basis of Black Panther 3.
And I don't want an outsider Wakanda king. I don't want an outsider T'Challa. If you're gonna do T'Challa, which I know there is
the film. So Black Panther 3 is about us accepting, not us, but Wakanda accepting. We're building the whole film around Wakanda accepting this new.
What if?
I mean, I'm not looking for T'Challa by name only. That's why I don't want T'Challa aged up. He's T'Challa now.
have
I'm
to-
looking
you
for
have to-
T'Challa.
We're not
They
on
need
that.
to
We're not
die.
on that. We're
They
still
need
on
to die. They all
T'Challa.
need to die. They all need to
What if? What if? Whatever feat he has in Secret Wars to stymie Doom for the time being saves Wakanda. Right? He does some sort of feat that puts, because again, think about where Wakanda is right now. What leader has adequately defended Wakanda since we've been introduced to this country?
So the variants will be the one to do it, and they'll say, "Yeah,
He comes
we know you're a
in,
variant."
he establishes some sort of order and protection that they haven't seen before, and that is worth more than the actual familial type. Because again, this is a country that they're well averse on the idea of there being multiple realities, aliens. Like it's not that foreign to them. It will not be that foreign to them for them to have
It's
a
a no
different
from me.
version from another universe. I
To
don't think.
challenge to be the leader, you got to show up at the waterfall. Are you on the tribes, Jabari border, or do you have the tattoo? Are
So
you
then let's let
a
him do it.
family member?
He'll have
No,
all of that, and then
he's from
whoever
another
wants
universe.
to stand in his way, which M'Baku, Shuri, his adolescent son, whoever wants to stand up can fall, and then he'll earn their respect.
No,
Also, we have to remember
he's not eligible. Like Ted Cruz, he's born in Canada. He's not eligible.
No, that's not the same thing. Again,
Yeah, it is.
T'Challa. Think about Ta-Nehisi Coates' run, right? T'Challa became emperor of the intergalactic empire of Wakanda. So it didn't matter what Wakanda, even Wakanda Prime, he showed up on, he was still the prime, the ruler. So it could be the same way, right? Maybe this version of Wakanda is not looped in yet. Maybe they haven't had their Council of T'Challa meeting. They didn't get their packet. They're not up to date since their last two kings died and their queen died before we can get the information to them about this grander network of interdimensional Wakandas. Maybe y'all were
Still not sitting well with me.
Right, whatever, chill. We could write the angst and xenophobia out. We don't even have to deal with it if we don't want to. We can literally write it out of the community. We don't have to have them say a single xenophobic thing about this new T'Challa. We don't have to deal with it at all. Right around it.
I prefer other ways, like literally anything else. There's a lot of ways I'd prefer that don't have him, the variant, being a variant.
Well, we could just bring back the original version. That's option A.
I would prefer that.
That's option A.
Earth will
Because
have
it's just
incursions.
hard for me to get
So the
behind
regular
a-
civilian will die. Everyone dies. It's an incursion. And then when everyone comes back, because Franklin Richards knows how to make universes, he'll go, "Hey, Shuri, I got your brother. He's back too." Easy as that. No one mentions how he looks differently because this is a recast. Easy as that. The variants could be one from the Fantastic Four movie because it's in another universe. And T'Challa could be friends with Reed Richards. And that could be the first time we see him.
Interesting. Everybody's ready to take on this Fantastic Four that's not established in the 616, and we're just good with it. We're cool. Like they didn't get their powers here. They didn't establish to themselves here, and we're good.
Do you want to know?
Uh-oh.
I don't know if I want to know.
No,
I do.
They're supposed to be from our universe.
Oh,
They're from
and
our
they ended
universe.
up over there.
Reed is the only one with knowledge of what happened and why they are there.
Okay.
So
he's been
we are
lying to
literally
Sue and
setting
all
up
of them.
perfect opportunity for T'Challa to have the same thing.
No, it
There's a
wouldn't be the
T'Challa
same
out.
thing.
There's a displaced T'Challa out there somewhere in the universe. Oh well, no, ooh. Our T'Challa was a scroll. To get him out of the picture, they displaced him in another universe that had T'Challa missing or dead. He has knowledge of it, but no knowledge on how to get back.
Yeah.
Until Dr. Doom starts ripping open incursions.
It plays perfectly. It plays perfectly into. I mean, Secret Invasion. It happened, although we didn't like it. It happened.
And they said world leaders were going to be changed by Skrulls. So look, they did the thing with T'Challa where a Skrull pretended to be T'Challa. Then they said, "Nah, someone will find us out. So we'll just
fake, why not?
We'll just fake the T'Challa death, will turn into M'Baku, because if we were trying to pretend to be T'Challa, somebody would out us because T'Challa is too T'Challa. We'll just have a Skrull pretend to be dead, and the Skrull is dead. Now, here's the thing:
And then
Marvel needs to admit that they're wrong.
they're not gonna do that.
They won't. This movie, that Wakanda
yeah,
Forever,
you're right.
was the actualization of our feelings, and we're not gonna go back on it type energy. That's so they wouldn't.
Yeah,
I
they're
would
not.
The
They're
love
Skrull
not
them
thing
gonna
to.
do
doesn't
that.
work. It would have reverted back to a Skrull the moment he died. They would have
I
had
get
to
No,
that.
the Skrull is
I get
faking.
that.
It's not a
But
dead
let's-
Skrull. It's a Skrull pretending to be a dead human.
There's ways that they could get around it. I get that because I thought about that too a while.
Oh,
back
you mean the
about, he
Skrull
would have
didn't actually
reverted back.
die? Like they faked the death altogether just to get that Skrull out of there.
That could be a thing
Well,
too.
but they, there would have needed to be more than just that Skrull involved with it. He was hooked up to monitors. They were monitoring him 24/7. He was
The
ill. They
Skrull
were
can
trying to
control
heal
its
him.
heartbeat. A control can control its nose, its face, its hair. It can control its heartbeat.
It can make it seem like you bottomed out, like you died, and you really didn't.
Yeah.
Or
That's
it
not.
could maybe. Well, no, I forget when they do take on whoever, they take on everything. So never mind. That wouldn't work either.
We need them to admit that they were wrong and change their opinion on stuff. We also didn't finish watching this.
Necessarily makes the most sense.
Right.
Obviously people like connect him with it, and it's different, like the connection that the public has. But I could be wrong. I mean, maybe they're casting his son. I don't know, but that's not what I heard. And my job is to tell you guys what I hear. And maybe
There we go. I like that. I like that update because the first half of that statement had me wondering. When he's all, yeah, I mean, to Jones pop. I'm like, oh fuck. He don't know what he's talking about. But that last part of it made me a little bit more confident. He said maybe they're casting his son, but that's not what I heard. Okay, so then you know enough to delineate then. Don't give me that horse shit that you gave me in the first place. I don't know. It could be. Come on, man.
You're
Don't
hearing it
misword
very
it.
optimistically.
I mean, I strongly believe that they're, I mean, it's Secret Wars, it's Avengers. That was never my question. I had been saying that way before Jeff, and we had all been saying that. Like, it's Avengers, especially when the Russos got brought on. I was like, okay, yeah, now I really believe it. My main question is, after all that, after Secret Wars, after Doomsday, after your soft rebooted universe, what happens in Black Panther 3? Because again, the kid's staying. So what are we?
Give him a dad. Just give him a dad. He can have a dad. Why do we need another fatherless black child in the MCU?
I agree with that. Go back to what you were originally going to do with Chat, that Chat signed off on, read the script, agreed to. You code named it Summer Break. Have the kid have a dad. Have the kid be with have him be with T'Challa. Fuck, maybe then I can accept the kid.
In Secret Wars, they can do that in Black Panther 3.
They can, but what they need to do is have it be T'Challa that was going to be his dad in the first place, not some variant that's going to come on and take on a kid that's not his.
Well, here's where I'm going to press back on that. Right, if it ends up being a variant. We have seen many examples of, and this is not just in black characters.
Yeah, we have.
They lost a parent and they replace it with the mentor figure.
Most recently with Thor.
Exactly. And it would be even more
personable. That was a shit movie too.
That was a terrible movie. But it would be even more personable in this case because while this person is not technically your father, he is from another time, another place, another version of your dad. Like it's not.
It just doesn't have to.
He's not your dad, but he's your dad from another place. Like he can't give you what you lost, but of all the options of who can bring you forward in life and teach you something, that has to be best option, right? Like it's not.
No. The best option? No.
Well, I mean, Hold on. Considering that your natural born father is gone and never coming back, like a version of him from another universe is the only. Like, I mean, what would be better than that in that instance?
A recast.
No, stop. If we're never getting that version back, let's deal with We dealt with the reality of we want him back.
Yeah, we're never getting
got
that
that.
version back. Okay,
But
so if we're
put it
never getting
down
that
for a
version
second.
back, then the only other option is the variant.
Is a variant.
A variant
and
is
so
better.
now, if you're going to have a stepdad, anyways, if you was going to have a Haitian stepdaddy with Lupita Nyong'o, I would much rather you have a T'Challa from another universe as your dad. I'm just saying.
Okay, but then
Okay,
that
fine.
catapults us
when you
into
compare
Black
something
Panther
to
3.
complete trash, you can say, well, it's better. All right, that's what you mean. Yeah.
Well, no,
That
that's not
catapults
what
us
I
into
mean.
Black
I'm
Panther
saying-
3, though.
Can I hear Darius, please?
I'm just saying it catapults us into the point of, okay, sure, he's a variant. Let's move past that. We can't get the original back. We're stuck with the variant. Okay, now we're at Black Panther 3. So then what?
Yeah, it's a
Are
thing.
are we at the top of are we in the throne room? Who is this? And then he can't come be. Huh? He's not T'Challa. Like, or what are we doing? Like, we're from there. What do we do?
Literally, you guys are putting that into the story right now. We literally don't have to do this. They could be so enamored by his entrance and whatever feat he completes in Secret Wars that he's beloved, and we literally don't have to deal with these real world problems that we're trying to introduce into comic books. We don't have to deal with it. Just write around it.
Something can be written before we get to Black Panther 3 to solve my problem and Darius's problem also. You're right. It can happen and it can work. This is my platform, our platform, and I'm vocalizing that is utmost importance. Is T'Challa going to be an outsider within his own Wakanda? Because then that's not T'Challa. That's a fraction of what I want out of T'Challa. It's 3/5 T'Challa. That's all. I can accept a variant, but take care of the problems that Marcus believes you can do, Marvel.
It's just writing. It's a pen. You know, it's probably what should drive the next project.
I get it wrong, and if Marvel wants me to, I checked with Marvel on this one. I actually gave him about a half hour.
Yeah.
To disabuse me of this notion. If they don't want to engage, then they don't want to engage. You know, it's the opposite approach of James Gunn and DC. He's like, I need everything out there to be accurate and, you know, what we signed off on, and Marvel's just like, let them fucking say whatever they want, and, you know.
I love that. No comment is the policy, you know what I mean? But also he waited 30 minutes for them, and he's acting as if that was a long time. I guess he usually gets
I was about to say 30 minutes. He probably didn't even see the email.
Yeah, so now when Variety says they did not yet respond immediately or something like that, it's probably 30 minutes now, I guess. I mean, I didn't know that. I'm not an industry insider. I'm not the Sneider like Jeff is.
He said, I gave you half an hour to get back to me. I'm printing.
Who is this man?
Crazy.
Give you 30 minutes, Marvel. What's up, Kevin?
sure.
No? Yeah, that's the power. That's just great. Learning stuff like that is awesome. I didn't know that's how quick I didn't know who he was. He's Jeff Sneider.
I in general, I can understand why an actor would turn down this role, because this is like probably a lose-lose to some people.
This is a projection
or a win-lose. Like, okay, I'm Black Panther of the MCU now, shit, but now everyone's going to compare me to Chadwick Boseman, and I'm the guy who didn't do the role justice, or, you know, whatever it is. So it could be bad, and that's why people don't host the Oscars and things like that.
Yeah.
But I think that someone is eventually going to say yes to this opportunity, and just like Rory McCann, I think, plans to. Someone's going to pay tribute to Chadwick with their performance and carry on the legacy of this character.
Christopher Reeve.
Yeah, I think this is when I read your news, I was like, yeah, this makes all the sense in the world. This makes all the sense in the world. It's been 5 years, and the drumbeats of people who have wanted to see T'Challa be recast has only gotten louder over those 5 years. A lot of people right off the bat were like, hey, we need to recast T'Challa.
Your response was overwhelmingly positive, John. I was surprised by that. I thought people would be very defensive and be like, you know, like, this is Chadwick's thing. Like, what the hell? No, a lot of them were like,
what?
You just gotta hear Jeff Sneider say it, or else it's not legitimately. I mean, we've been saying the tide has been turning for at least a year now. The tide's turning. Hey, you know, I might actually think that we're winning online. I think the people who are loudest in the rejection to this aren't actually affecting. And then, you know, Jeff Sneider gets on and says it in 2025 in January, and it's like, eureka! I'm so surprised.
We changed the tide's turns because we were not practicing apathy, which you recommended a couple of weeks ago. Are you gonna take that back yet?
that was for a specific instance, and I did not suggest apathy the entire time. Right before apathy, there is a come to Jesus moment where you bring attention to what is wrong.
Wait, that's what I
we were
was saying,
doing for the unit.
Marcus. That's what I
No,
was saying. So maybe I misunderstood you, Marcus.
No,
We were on the
no,
same.
no. You wanted to reestablish as if people didn't already know that you didn't want the child. Fam, I just
And-
heard Jeff Sneider say on his podcast that he doesn't want the child. So there was no more, hey guys, remember, don't accept the child that you needed to do. It's already there. If Jeff Sneider is saying it, it's
got
already there.
It got there thanks to my and everyone else's
To
child
you,
rejecting.
okay, gotcha.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not that.
Sure. I think he's looking at the internet and he probably sees where public sentiment is. Public sentiment doesn't happen overnight, right? Like that has
I've been
been
doing
like
this
that for some time now.
anti-child stuff for like 2 years. Remember, all I want to say is they don't care about us. Recast the real T'Challa. Like I've been on this for 2 years.
I don't
know it
want to
didn't happen
dispel
overnight.
your efforts, fam. I'm saying
All right.
what they put forth as a product was lackluster, and people rejected it with their dollars. They didn't need video dissertations to be told, hey, this isn't good, because they told you it wasn't good. They lined up to go buy tickets. They saw it once and they went home and watched something else.
You mentioned ticket purchases.
Mm-hmm.
The movie making less than the first movie by so much, considering inflation. Like the first movie was pre-COVID. This one was 2022. The box office results was integral.
Subpar?
Yeah, thank you for the word. There you go. The subpar performance initiated a response that was reactionary to the benefit of the studio's Q4. Anyways, they didn't make money. It's because of us. Boycotting works. Not spending. Everyone who spent money. Darius, you saw the first one 16 times. How many times you see that next one? Once. There were 15 movie tickets from the Planet Fanatics household, which didn't go to this movie. Shout out to you. You spent less money. The recast T'Challa cry, that was a suggestion, right? It was, you guys, here goes, recast. We're going to make videos on it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to tweet about it. But when it came down to it, and they didn't change anything, and they didn't they could have always just made it the blip. Remember that? And they didn't do it. You have to speak with your wallet at that point. Your hand is pushed. You're forced. And they didn't pay money. People didn't pay to see it. Boycotts work, everyone. Remember that with your mind, and remember that for the next time they do something. They try something funny on you guys. I always said boycott. No, I didn't always say boycott. I said I don't think boycott is the right word. I remember I said that. Boycott is more for serious things, and I mentioned the Montgomery bus boycott. But then I changed my mind. No, it's a boycott. You're withholding dollars, and I recommended that, and I suggested that. Salute to me. Marcus, did you ever tell people not to spend money on something that they didn't like? Did you boycott Wakanda Forever?
I didn't tell people to boycott.
Why not?
I didn't say, hey, don't go see this movie. I said, if you don't want to see it succeed, the best thing you can do is not go see it. We're not going to go see it. Like we told everybody that we weren't going to go see it. And the reason why, I can't dictate to people what they go and consume. You are right in that if I felt like this was a more urgent issue, like if this was dealing with a life or death type of thing, something that had a little bit more immediate of an impact to myself or loved ones, then that's something that calls for a boycott. I feel like there's gray areas with media, but at the same time, like you said, the loss in dollars is what affected this thing the most. I don't think it was the online engagement, because they could have looked at the online engagement any number of years before the second movie came out and determined that at very least the fan base was split on the decision. If they were actually being honest about what was being said online, who was saying it, and trying to project that way, but they didn't.
They meaning
Nate Moore or any of the people that work for Nate Moore, right? He's not a one-man operation. They have resources out of the wazoo at Disney. And if you can't ascertain what your audience wants, that's a failure. Like when you're that size, a media conglomerate like Disney, you've got all these different vehicles that you can pull data from and research your consumers. You've got social media where they basically give it away for free.
Right? Free feedback.
You still can't figure it out.
Because they didn't like women. See?
But those were the excuses that protected them, though. They said that kind of stuff because you can hide behind those labels. That we're back to the Jodie Turner and acolyte shit, right? You throw that kind of stuff up because you can stand behind it. You there's nothing really an honest person who wants to give you the benefit of the doubt can say to that, because they know that stuff exists within corporations. That doesn't always mean that's the reason why you fail, though.
MG is too afraid to even write this comment. I'm not trying to be misogynist, but the Shuri toys wasn't selling off the retail shelves either. Why did you have to begin that with how you're not trying to be misogynist? Because he's so aware, or he or she, whoever MG is so aware of that anti-woman sentiment that I have been labeled as, and many of you guys here who've been doing that RecastTChalla work. It's you're anti-women, and it's not the case. We're pro greatest black character to ever exist in fiction continuing on screen. It just so happens that the replacement or the person in the lead is now a woman. Just like TJ, I'm not anti-kid. If they age him up, I'm not anti-turbo aging. I'm anti an impediment on T'Challa, or variant. I'm anti a variant of T'Challa who is seen as this foreigner in this third movie. I guess it's not the plot I'm looking for.
We're saying that about the new T'Challa variant. Chill. What are they going to do about the Haitian native that's calling himself the heir to the throne? How are we going to do that? How are we going to spin that? So we just had a whole movie where another person who's claiming at least an opportunity to compete for the throne, right? The challenge for the throne by virtue of his ancestry. But he was born in Compton. And that was met with some resistance there, wasn't it? And it just didn't play out all that well, even after he won his challenge fair and square, right? Didn't play out all that well. So do you think they're going to be so ready to line up another bastardized royal child who's strolling back into Wakanda just in time to assume his throne? Y'all think they're about to run that playbook right back again?
See, in a post-battle world incursion world, all that doesn't matter no more.
Well, yeah, because none of that stuff happened. They don't have the memory of it. But
that is the beauty of battle worlds and incursions and stuff. When we return back to regular Earth, everything that universe that we call home, they can set the rules however we want to set it. Which they could make it in a world where T'Challa never died. It's there.
But if they are serious about aging up that child, let's stick with the My Shine rumor is now, right?
Oh yeah, we didn't even say what it was, did we? Go ahead and introduce that.
So My Time to Shine Hello is refuting the Sneider report and saying that it's not actually a recast and that they're just aging up his son, T'Challa Jr., which is what we were scared of them doing in the first place. If bringing in a new T'Challa was complicated, aging this kid up is going to be even more convoluted. If you take the one from the 616 and make him older, you have to make everyone else around him older. If you go to another universe and pull an older version of him, what happens to the younger version of him? They can't exist in the same timeline. They can't run congruently in the same universe, two versions of themselves. Also, if you are pulling him in for another universe and he's an older version of himself and he's forsaking everything that he just came from in terms of his old universe, if you're going to go that far, then why aren't we doing the original T'Challa again? Like, again, if you're going to take,
they would have to admit they're wrong, because they'd have to say what they don't want to say, and that T'Challa should have never died, and that movie, which was a reflection of our feelings, and we got to be the world outside our window. They'd have to admit that, and that's a big obstacle.
I agree that's part of it, but my point is, if you're going to pick the son, aging him up, you're doing that because it's the easier option. It's the more seamless option. Well, the more that you peel that back, it's not. It's not. Even less seamless than getting the T'Challa, right? I think the idea of sticking with the child is not breaking the continuity even more than you already have, right? Is not going into a dead tailspin and then having to admit that you're wrong, like Joe just said. Well, the easiest way to avoid all of that is stick on the pathway that we're already on and just try to slightly adjust it to fit what the audience is asking for, which is an older version of the child. Well, You can't get that smoothly. There's no way to do that within the works that you're trying to do right now, unless you time jump everybody or you get extra funky and basically do what you should have done for the original T'Challa and pull him from a whole nother universe.
I don't believe that they're going to age this kid up. I don't believe Shine at all. I think that My Time, although she has good scoops every now and then, they are not always reliable on things like that. I used to say all the time, My Time doesn't miss. We're in a My Time missing era. My Time tweeted October 15th, 2023. Can We Get Some Toast also tweeted this. This was a lot of people believe that Can We Get Some Toast was also My Time before they got sniped out by Marvel. Can We Get Some Toast tweeted at one point Black Panther, Captain Marvel, and Spider-Man were set up to be the new face of the MCU. Went on to what Chadwick Boseman or what Joanna Robinson said, about Chadwick Boseman and blah, 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 blah. And then him, Tom Holland, blah, blah, blah. My Time quote retweeted that and said New Earth with a new T'Challa. She said nothing about a child. She said nothing about aging up or anything like that. So this is why I say My Time's not a reliable source on this one. I'm going to lean more heavy on what Jeff is saying than what My Time is saying. Because if you were saying in October of 2023, New Earth, New T'Challa, you didn't say New Earth, New T'Challa, they're aging up the kid. You are now saying that they're aging up the kid. Jeff said in what we just heard, I didn't hear anything about the kid. I heard a new T'Challa. So I think Shine was missing out on a barbecue that she wasn't invited to. So she saw all the tweets and things. She was like, let me get in on this and then get some engagement over here really quick. So she tweeted some troll ass shit to get the conversation rolling her way. Shine doesn't know what she's talking about on this one because she has no source on this one. Just my take on it.
My opinion is that My Time to Shine, hello, like I've said here before, is Marvel themselves. Who else would go, no, I'm a female. Like, I got to clarify that. Like, you're hiding your identity. You want people to think you're a male when you're actually
why
female.
would you tell everybody that you're a girl?
It's because it's Disney and they've been on their female kick. Even their scoopers got to be female. It's just...
I don't know too many scoopers that have open relationships with people that they drop info to. And so the fact that like we know that My Shine drops information to Josh, and he even takes it with a grain of salt to a certain degree when he reports it.
Oh, that
so like,
Josh?
Yeah, you don't usually know where you're dropping this stuff off at. Like that kind of, like you said, the same thing with you telling me that you're female. You're giving me ways to identify you. Like you're unwittingly, probably, it seems like you're putting out cookie crumbs to figure out who you actually are.
I say My Time to Shine, hello, is Marvel themselves. They put out feelers like that. It's not philosophical pickle here. It is. Aren't you supposed to like eat grass or something? Wasn't that the bet? That was a bet, right? If it doesn't make a billion, if Wakanda Forever makes $1 billion, someone had to eat grass. I rember.
Oh, you were going to eat grass?
I distinctly remember that bet that someone had to eat grass.
You were safe, big dog. You was never going to eat no grass.
My super chat was missed. Gotta go. Peace. No, Michael Nemo said this recast T'Challa is surging because Disney thought that all of their other shows and films would have done better, so they're forced to look at Black Panther. Is he right? He's 100% right. They made this decision not to recast in 2020. Black Widow hadn't even happened yet, right? They're still
light on IP. Yeah.
So they thought like we could go wrong, and then they started seeing only $200 million for the Captain Marvel sequel. That's $1 billion hitter. What's wrong? Only $400 million for Quantumania, and they can bleed. So yes, they need their franchise player back. But is it the franchise player? That's the question.
Yeah, maybe they're not IP light, but they are. The titles aren't there, right? Like they're just not. They're not winning at the rate that they used to, and it gets harder and harder to justify the output. You know, the amount of funds that they're dumping into this shit, and they're not winning at the rate that they used to be.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael, for the super, and have a good night. Also, yes.
So
Yeah. No, I definitely. Well, I'm not gonna say that. I'm actually gonna go on. This is the last thing I'm gonna say on this right now. Someone I put in. Well, understanding I put in the chat earlier. About it not being that deep because it's at the end of the day a comic book film, and that is true. It is a comic book movie at the end of the day. But I will say this:
shit? Wrong chat. Boo! Tomatoes.
I will say this. I think I've said this before when people have said it's really not that deep. To whom is it not that deep? Because representation, in my opinion, is that deep. When you are wanting to see yourself represented and you have the perfect opportunity to be represented with a studio that has billions and billions of dollars, with characters at their fingertips, with the black character at their fingertips, created in the height of the civil rights movement for literal representation, it is that deep. I want to see my Superman on screen. I want to see my community represented. I think Josh over at Dinner Nerds put it very well when he was talking about it on his stream, talking about the recasting of T'Challa. This is not just a Marvel issue, and I've said this even before, in past streams. This is not just a Marvel issue. This is a black issue. This is a black folks community issue because this is our character. And
I said the same thing, something like that, at the comic shop earlier today. Yes, and I won over the conversation.
Yeah, and it's important for our voices to be heard on this matter. Why is it important for our voices to be heard? Because it's our character, and this is our representation. People keep saying, we've got Sam Wilson. Nobody's trying to represent. Nobody's, flocking behind Sam. That's little representation, but it's not. It's not the same representation. I get where you're getting confused with the representation because they put a black face on the screen and the center of the poster, and they're like, boom, boom, boom. It's representation. That's not
center of the poster. The center of the poster. Are you sure?
Wherever the fuck he is on the poster. I mean, the film's not gonna. So whatever, wherever he is, it's not the representation that we're wanting. So it is that deep. It is that deep. And until T'Challa is put back on screen and we have that representation, it's always going to be that deep.
And representation doesn't just mean the casting. It's not fulfilled because someone's dark skinned, they call him T'Challa. That's all we needed. No, it's gotta fit. It's gotta be King, who's intelligent, who's got the same superpowers. They can't change the superpowers. They've got to make him same relationships he's got. Like Shuri looks at him as a brother. You've got to fulfill what T'Challa is in the IP, and you got to replicate the adaptation of what is a comic book T'Challa into our screens. You can't give me a fraction of it for your new take or anything like that. We're not there yet. When we have 7 T'Challa's movies, then sure. And back to the T'Child. Marcus, we don't want that T'Challa. Imagine this T'Challa gets 5 movie appearances, multiple appearances here, there, TV shows here. A fan might say, that's my T'Challa. I prefer him. Now we just diluted the fan base.
About the T'Challa, I just say give him a dad. Give him the dad.
I know.
If he's not, they're not going to kill him. We don't want him to be the new T'Challa. So just let his dad.
I agree. If they age the T'Challa up and they make him T'Challa, he's a substitute of T'Challa. He's not actual T'Challa, and he's a separate character. His dad is T'Challa. So now we fast forward a few years later and down the road, someone's watching a cartoon, playing a video game, we're doing something with T'Challa in it, and they go, wait, this is T'Challa. Where's Toussaint? Where's the Haitian character? Who's Nakia's son? Where's that one? That's not even my favorite T'Challa. The real T'Challa is the one I saw in multiple movies because of what they did here with aging the T'Child and passing that up as the substitute T'Challa. Why do that? We haven't even established in the pop culture zeitgeist true T'Challa. Let's get that. When we're done that, we can entertain it. Batman Beyond didn't. Terry McGinnis, that came 60, 70 years after Batman was invented, had reoccurring roles to establish him in the pop culture zeitgeist. It's been done. Miles Morales is a Spider-Man 50 years after Peter Parker was invented, and they can get experimental with it. We're not at this stage of experimentation with T'Challa. We're at the breakthrough. And what we need to do is solidify him and make him a mainstay. Any substitute or a variant who is a fraction of T'Challa, 3/5 T'Challa, is not gonna fly with me.
Yes. TJ is not T'Challa. We all understand. As
No, we don't
long as
know.
they don't make his role too big in Black Panther 3. If he has somewhat of a diminutive role in Black Panther 3, he only shows up to hug his Baba after the incursion. I think we're well set on Lil Toussaint. I don't think he didn't do anything in the first movie, so there's really nothing of note other than the after credit scene, and it doesn't have to go any further than that. Honestly, it
doesn't.
God honestly does not have to go any further than that. They could
There was
leave
no on-screen commitment to that.
Nothing. We just know that he has a child out there. Matter of fact, if we just circle this whole thing around, and he's like, at the end of the movie, at the end of Black Panther 3, he's like, "Did I have a child here?" And then just end it right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, wait, I had some kids back in my universe. Did I have a child here? He asked somebody's secret, somebody else that knows with him, somebody else that knows that he's new. Probably sure. It probably should be sure. If there's one person in Wakanda who can spot that after the incursions that this is not the person who was her brother, then it should be Shuri. Then he goes back and he asks Shuri, did me and Nakia have children here? And then you can just end it right there. You leave it on the cliffhanger to Black Panther 4. But what they can't do is turn it into what they wanted to do with Blade initially with his daughter, what Ant-Man 3 ended up being for Cassie Lang. This is not an audition for Junior to be on the Champions. Don't do that, because then we start getting into that realm of what you're talking about, where now it's more recognizable. It's a little bit confusing. Which one is going to be the actual Black Panther?
Competition within his own franchise.
Exactly. Yeah. So no, I don't think it would do them any good to convolute it with another Black Panther, unless it was something like Casper Cole, who's going to be in a whole nother continent doing something different with a different suit by a different name. You know,
Don't give him ideas. I don't want Casper. I want
T'Challa.
T'Challa.
I could deal with some cat. Would you take Casper Cole over to Child?
Yes, because at least Casper Cole is a
They can do
comic
some
book character.
off-screen shit. Namor.
What if
Was
T'Challa
pissed.
ends up
Wanted
being
it again,
in
and-
version of Casper Cole? He
Don't give
goes
them
off
ideas.
to
They're
America,
watching. There's
gets an
100.
American education. First of all, you're not even in love with Casper Cole because you didn't even want him on screen 2 seconds ago. So what if we give him give little to Child, Casper Cole's role in America, right? He goes off, gets an American education, never has the ideas of going back to find his so-called roots in Wakanda, right? Because he never met his dad. He never met nobody from Wakanda except for this lady that said that he's his aunt. And then she went off and I never seen her, or I haven't seen her in years. You could just be telling me stories, Mom. I don't believe you. I'm going to America to get an American education. And then somehow, some way, all of that history comes out, and now he's de facto Casper Cole.
I didn't say I would accept. I just say I will reject Casper Cole less harder than I would reject the child being aged up.
I don't want Casper Cole as our main Black Panther.
I don't know what you guys said. You spoke together. What did Arius say?
Oh, I just said let Namor flood that shit again, and then maybe he just didn't.
And eggs out the child. Yo,
remember, we also
maybe
don't know
no one
what
did.
We don't know what the plot is. Secret Wars is how they'll handle Battle World. We don't know Doomsday. We don't know enough. They can't accomplish what we want them to accomplish. It's pivotal. It's important to be vocal about it when we talk about how we want a true T'Challa and not just a variant. Or wouldn't it be an interesting story if he was out of his element, fish out of water T'Challa? He's in Wakanda, but it's not his home. Ooh, what an interesting story. I'm not checking for that. I'm not. Marcus, maybe you could be more willing to accept it. I can speak for myself. In my opinion,
you literally don't have to do that.
Yeah, like you don't have to do it.
We're introducing real life stuff into a comic book story. We can literally just not write it.
Mm-hmm. We had another super chat from Critical Mass during the Superman era. Are we done with Black Panther stuff? And I can read this.
Yeah, go ahead.
So he got this in right as we changed topics. If Soups performs Brave and Bold needs to drop within 3 years. The Batman 2 is scheduled for 2027. That would be too close. The Batman 2 may not happen, or it'll be in DCU.
I think the latter is probably the most likely. I don't think Brave and the Bold takes off. There's nothing there to suggest that it's going to be equally or more popular than Reeves and Pattinson's version. It's successful. They just need to get on the same page. And by get on the same page, meaning Gunn needs to bring, or in his mind, he probably needs to bring Reeves to heel. I think Reeves has a vision, but I don't know if he's going to be allowed to have that vision underneath James Gunn's tent. And so that probably lays the conflict. Like, I can only exist if I have full control over what I'm doing, but Gunn is the guy right now, and he's got his fingers on everything that's churning through the DCU right now. So Reeves is probably like, all right, well, I'll just stay over here in Elseworld. But if you're not going to be my Batman, then I don't have to prioritize you. I need to prioritize a Batman that's going to be in this universe.
Has the Robin's show been proven to be Elseworld? Has it been officially announced as Elseworld? Matt Reeves is doing the Robin cartoon.
Oh, I didn't know.
He said that was Elseworld. He said it had nothing to do with that stuff.
Okay, there's no rhyme or reason. I have no idea what's happening. I remember James Gunn going and saying, we used to be everywhere. Now we're going to make more sense, and we're going to have everyone know that what's happening in the canon is the DCU, video games, movies, and animation. Shut up, James Gunn.
All right, yeah, it's all connected. We want to make it one clean brand.
Yeah.
Nothing is greenlit until its script is finished, or he says something like that. And
so they already have a script for Clayface then, right? There's a Clayface script.
Well, yeah, he's not meeting his standards. Unfortunately, he's fumbled a lot. Fortunately, nothing's been Creature Commandos, but nothing live action. His big stuff hasn't released yet. We can't criticize his fiction yet. We can't be mad at his universe, or it could still be the awesome movie. It's just he talks too much on internet, and we the YouTube
and I
community,
hope it is.
Yeah, I hope so. And I hope he just shuts up. Like, why are you so mad at Josh from Dead of Nerds for no reason? He was right about the Henry Cavill thing.
Because he was right. That's why he's so mad.
He tried to delegitimize
the same
media.
reason he doesn't like Grace. Say what you want about Grace, but Grace was right about
the haircut,
Middle Eastern shit.
Oh yeah, right. Because then, and then he talked to Bassem Youssef, who was that cast member who was after the writer strike and after the big, Okay, we're done. We've been going really long, and I don't want to go longer and overstay the welcome. The recast train, for me, it's not choo-choo. It's not over. It's choo-choo, choo-choo, choo. Be more vocal of how you want this casting to take place, whether you're casting a variant or whether you're recasting with true T'Challa and reject the T'Child. Chill. That's Darius from Planet Fanatics. That's Rhea from the Glimmercast who just wrote in. Appreciate you. Appreciate Bird and Raymond and Critical Mass and Michael Nemo and what's this guy? Nagano Tuno. Last time, Resurrection Altar is the answer. Soul swap T'Challa's spirit into the new actor's body, and he'll know the same secrets that old T'Challa knows. There's ways to do it. In this scenario, it would mean that all of the characters would acknowledge this is a new person. He looks different, and it's not my ideal. But thank you for voicing your opinion. Whatever the most popular opinion is, if it's like a united opinion, I think Marvel will go, oh, well, everyone will say they're okay with doing the recast. Like, we're just watching this guy. This guy was telling us about how every time he tweeted it or he read a reply, it was overwhelmingly positive. We've got power, and we've got to show the positivity and show how welcoming we would be to a recast and at least be united and reject an aged up T'Child substituting to be your T'Challa. You want
to close? Say something?
Yeah, like what did we not touch on? I know tomorrow me and you are going to be streaming and we'll be talking to more unique opinions. I think Brian from Spoiler Kings sent me a DM. He said he'd be willing to do it. We'll talk to a bunch of other content creators, just shuffle people in and out. Look out for that tomorrow. That's it, man. I just don't want to go. We're 3 hours deep. We've talked this thing completely through. The Hot Mic Podcast is John Roca's YouTube channel. check it out. Anything else to add, Darius?
I'll just add this. I am in my new studio. This is my first stream from my new house, so I'm still trying to get everything together here as far as just everything up in here. But as far as me being able to sit down and stream, I can finally do that. As I mentioned, I do not do that corporate bullshit 9 to 5 thing anymore. So I have so much free time in my schedule now to where I can fit and really prioritize YouTube the way that I want to. So I will be live during the midday from now on. Lives will probably start around 2, 1 Central Standard Time. If not, then I will still, if I don't do it at that time, then it'll still be around that 7 time. If I don't, like, if let's say there's a day I don't do it at that time, that'll be like 7 that night or something like that, Central Standard Time. But I'm putting a lot of focus and stuff into the page and the channel. So I'll be live with Chill tomorrow, and I'll also be live tomorrow because we had a snowstorm, so I'm not going shit anywhere. It's still snowing. So I will I'll be live more than likely midday tomorrow. And then I'll be live with Chill tomorrow as well to do the T'Challa recast stream. I will go a little bit more in depth on the recast stuff and say some things and go over some things, go into some articles and things that I've bookmarked. Give a little more thought on what I think about what's going on with everything too. Reached out to the source, talk to them, see what's going on with that. And some other other movie news and things that I wanted to touch on and get back into the groove of everything. So I will be back on that tomorrow.
I'm gonna direct everybody to an article, a very interesting article that I hope you guys read. It's about what if Barbie, the Black Barbie situation, like what if that's the response? It's a French, girls collect these dolls, and what if they're like, okay, the answer to the underrepresentation problem with black dolls is these black dolls who are male. Like that's basically what's happening when this article is, so what's black men's real problem with the Black Panther films? I would check that one out. It's linked right down there in the live chat. If you guys are up. Hey, Black Comic Lords. Bye, Black Comic Lords.
No, Raymond, I did not crash out. Sometimes I have lots to say, and I do have lots to say, but I feel like in this instance, when I am on, I'm sharing a platform, it is, I have to let everyone speak. I can't just go. So I have a lot to say. I will be saying it in that stream that I mentioned. So I'll be there. No crash out, just listening. Sometimes just listen. Oh, he wasn't talking about me. My fault. Well, if anybody felt that I crashed out, I didn't say shit. My fault. But like I said, I'm live tomorrow, midday, everything like that. So be looking for that. And then Chill and I will be doing the deal where we bring in other content creators, and I think we'll have a leak. If anybody else wants to come in and say something, you can as well. Yeah, so that's that.
You know who else we should invite?
Who's
Josh.
Hey, I've been watching y'all every single time on Thursday and Friday because I swear to God, y'all switch up every now and then. But rock out. I'm fucking with it. I'm out.
Thank you, Josh.
Appreciate it.
I know.